So what's happening is that Shawn, of course, to protect himself, is trying to show you as the bad guy, as you show you as the one who forced him. I mean, not just asked him to, but forced him to kill those people. So when we have that situation, it's again, I have to come. We have to just we have to discuss the whole thing, find out the truth. Because what I don't want to go in with that. I don't believe that. He made decisions of his own free will, what he did, and I don't think that you were mind controlling him to do anything.
No,
Charles Manson, okay?
Yeah, no, I'm not. Okay.
So
definitely I'm not.
Okay, so like we were just talking about, you got picked up for this traffic violation, all right? So since you got brought down here against your will, before we can talk, I got to read you your rights.
Okay.
That's just the rule of how it is, even though you're not under arrest for anything that I'm investigating.
You didn't read me my rights the other day.
Well, that's because you weren't under arrest.
Okay.
So now you've been arrested for this traffic violation, so it changed things. That's the difference.
Well, we hope that that's going to get fixed pretty quickly, because that is not how.
Okay, we can discuss all that. So you have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all. And any statement you make may be used against you and probably will be used against you at your trial. You understand that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you've had all this.
Oh, yes.
Any statement you make may be used as evidence against you in court. You understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to have a lawyer present to advise you prior to and during any question. Understand?
Okay.
If you're unable to employ a lawyer, you have the right to have a lawyer appointed to advise you prior to and during any questioning.
Okay.
And you have the right to terminate this interview at any time.
Okay.
Understand that? So, any questions about any of those?
No.
Basically, you're in charge. Okay, you talk as long as you want to, and then.
Well, I need to know, why come you didn't just let me know that you thought I could maybe help somehow?
Well, here's the thing. We went over to talk to your wife because we hadn't had a chance to talk to her before.
Okay.
And so we caught her there. It was just she was there. And
Yeah, we had just got back from lunch.
Oh, okay. So we talked to her, and she gave us consent to search in the
Right.
apartment.
We're always going to cooperate
Right,
with
sure.
you. Sure.
And you have been really cooperative, with the van and everything like that. So
and I would hope she's the same way. So she.
Oh yeah, she was totally cooperative, very, very helpful with us and everything. So
Was there something that you were looking for in there?
well, yeah, you understand that we're looking what we're investigating, right? We talked to you about it.
Really.
We're investigating a murder that
Yeah,
happened.
I don't know anything about it. I don't really understand what you're messing with me for about
Sure.
it, but
Well, like we kind of explained the other day, is that we went to talk to everybody who
right.
had anything to do with her, and that
Yeah, I
includes
never knew her. So
gardeners and people who did work on her house, and her landlord, her ex-husband, every other kind of person you could think of that we might
Right.
talk to, and we
Well,
just
yeah,
worked
that
our
would
way.
make sense.
And we worked our way down the list till we got to you. Okay, so that's why we made contact that first time stuff. So I went to follow up on that as well, because when we talked the first time, your wife was not feeling well. She was asleep and everything.
Yeah, she
and you
was.
asked us not to bother, so we didn't bother.
She works chaotic hours.
Yeah,
she
so-
works 4 in the morning until in the afternoon.
Right.
So that kind of schedule, she doesn't get the proper. Well, she's to get up at 3 in the morning. So usually she'll nap in the afternoon.
Right.
If she, if she feels up to it, we'll do a little something. So today we had lunch, and then I presume she probably was asleep. Whatever y'all.
Yeah, I don't know. She didn't say. I think she was changing clothes or something like that. Maybe
Okay.
by the time we got there.
So of course we went in and checked the place. So there's a few things I'm concerned about, and maybe you can kind of help me out.
Yeah, if you tell me what they are, I'll gladly
So
help
one
you.
thing, there's a lot of women's jewelry there. So tell me about why there's a lot.
Was
of
it in
women's
a
What is-
book? Inside a book?
That's one place. Yeah.
Okay, I only have a couple of jewelry pieces. I'm wearing one, and I have an alternate that I wear that's a Mother Teresa
Right.
medallion. I wear sometimes, not very often.
Right.
I just like Mother Teresa. She was a good person, and she tried to always do for others.
Sure.
So I like to sometimes, I actually got that from a vendor, for a fair price.
You got what?
The Mother of Teresa medallion.
Oh, the Mother Teresa, the one you're wearing, you mean?
No, it was in the.
Oh, it was in the thing. Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that I can think of that you would have found is a Bible, or it's actually a book. But when you open it, it's not a book. It's a container.
Right.
And it's just junk stuff that I let the kiddos randomly play with or pick through.
Right.
And it's very old. There's nothing, I would gladly let you do whatever you got to do
Right.
with it.
So how did you come across that stuff?
I have collected it for a long time. When I was in 1993, they had stuff here they had to give back to me. They did whatever they wanted to do with it. I've always been a little collector of coins or stones or little junkyard garage sale stuff.
Right.
If you can get it for 50 cents or $1 or $2, the kiddos will play with it if nothing else. I've got 4 grandbabies.
Right.
And then sometimes for a birthday, if you don't have, if you can't afford a good birthday present, then you can give them something out of the junk box. That's just a junk box is all it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens to be I used to like to do that a lot. Okay, I used to like to, I still like to go on the Congress Avenue or whenever there's something going on where there's a lot of foot traffic and foot vendors, I still like to go peruse around and see what the people are having or making.
Right.
But I presume you understood that from last time. I don't do anything wrong, and I'm fully going to cooperate.
Sure. Yeah, you've been very cooperative, and I appreciate
with
that.
anything.
So here's a few things. So there's some other stuff that looked newer.
There's only one new piece that I know of for sure. And it's that Mother of Teresa. It's a silver chain and a Mother of Teresa medallion, silver dollar size.
Okay.
And that would be the only thing I can think of. Maybe one of my old watches, which I quit wearing.
So you said that you got a bunch of stuff back from the 1993 case they returned to you?
Yeah, it might have been even a tad before that. I used to keep rings on my chain, and I actually have the receipts for them from the pawn shop. I bought them. Let me see. 08, 09, maybe, I think 07, 08, 09. I would go in and try to buy them at a fair price. They'll mark them higher than what they actually have in them. And so I would try to buy them, and I have I still have in the paperwork, which I'm sure y'all found. I keep all my paperwork with me, so if there's ever any question, I have the paperwork. I have receipts for everything from the pawn shops that I've bought, and they give you a receipt. And I recently had to, because we're in a hotel, and because of our for some reason we just applied and got denied to rent a place, an apartment.
Where was that at?
She has the date. I can't think of the name of it. It's right there on 35, and it's in the Tech Ridge area. She would know the name of it, but I paid the deposit and everything and got denied, so we're waiting on that back. And I think you probably found a couple of rental agreements in there that we're trying to enter into to lease, so we don't have to live in that area.
Right.
It's a pretty crazy area. And she ended up there. I was in trouble about a year or so back. I'm sure you have a record of that. And it was, I have a question because that's what this license thing is about that you're using against me now, or that's where it originated from.
Right.
I was asleep in that same van, asleep parked, okay, and then they arrested me for parole violation for not reporting.
Right.
Okay, and then in the van they found a little bit of marijuana. in the van. But they asked me, since the vehicle wasn't moving,
Right.
and since it was just a very minor amount of marijuana, how could that get my license messed up?
I'm not sure all the details on that, but I think that whenever you get arrested for marijuana, you have to do like a drug education program, or else your license is, even if it's not in the car, or else your license can get suspended. Yeah,
even if you're not even in a car?
Yeah, even if you're not in the car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's how my license ended up being suspended. I've never had any traffic violations or anything like that. So that annoys me.
That's a minor thing. That's
the mistreatment of me can hinder any type of anything that you would ever net or gain from associating with me or asking me to figure out what can you figure out to help us or anything.
Right.
Because I'm an old man, and I've been, I did my time, and I've been treated harshly before, and I don't cotton to it too well.
I don't think that we're mistreating.
No, you're not yourself. Your buddy, the day that happened, was a little bit.
What did he say?
Well, he was just a little bit astute, like he was like a dog on a trail.
Sure.
And that you just have to be up front, and then I'll open the door or whatever it takes.
Sure.
You just have to treat me fairly because I've been through the ringer.
Well, okay, and I want to do nothing but treat you fairly. But believe me, I want you've gotten on our radar. I want to get you off our radar as quickly as I possibly can.
I don't understand that,
but I'm going to be straight up forward with you because I try to be as straightforward with people.
We should always be that way. That's the best way.
So, and that is that you're someone that we're definitely looking at in association with this murder that occurred. Okay.
You actually think that I did a murder?
Well, I'm not saying that you did a murder. What I'm saying is, you're someone we definitely have to look at, and we have to do everything we can to try to get you off. So this is where it's real important. Okay, so you have some association with her, and you may not remember it. Okay, with Kathy Blair. Okay?
I don't think I ever met her. I don't think I ever saw her.
Do you know anyone else who's been murdered?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
No, I mean, you're the first enlightenment of anything at all, and you didn't do anything but just briefly mention her name. And the only thing I was trying to do was I was trying to put together my records because they got one of my briefcases when they stole the van.
Mm-hmm.
And it had I usually have a notepad of some type and several pens, and I keep notes as to what day I worked, what work I performed, who owes me for the work, like that. Phone number to contact, who it is, what do they want done. And that information may be in some of the paperwork that y'all probably found in the room.
Yeah,
that's
I found another briefcase, and I didn't see any paperwork.
I think that's an older one. That's very old. Was it like a Samsonite one, like a real old school? Yeah, that has legal stuff in it. And
so, one thing that we did was, and we had talked about how this murder that we're investigating, okay, is a murder that happened on the 5th, okay, the 5th or the 6th, okay, it's the night of. So we talked about maybe what you might have been doing or if you had been working, and you said you thought maybe you may have been working that day. So,
or I was with my wife, one or the other.
So we went to your work.
I think I was still employed there at that time.
Yeah, and you weren't. You weren't employed, and you weren't working during that week. So
did he say what day it was he actually let me go from there?
Yeah,
I think I was on
the last
schedule.
day you worked there was, let me see.
I know I was there Thanksgiving Day for sure.
12/2.
12/2. And that would have been
that would have been the end of that week's schedule right there.
That would have been a Saturday or a Sunday, 12/2.
Probably.
And this day that this thing happened is on a what day? On the 5th, and what day
It
of
was 5th. 5th
week?
is a Friday. 5th and 6th.
Oh, so we've been on a Friday.
Friday night, Saturday morning.
Oh, golly. She usually works early. We usually go to bed early,
Right.
8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. She's usually 8. When she goes in at 3:30, 4 in the morning, usually we're in bed by 8 o'clock. Or, around, I think what we do is we put on wrestling or whatever show it is that she wants to watch, Criminal Minds or whatever, we fall asleep to that.
Right. So, tell me your cell phone number again. And we found another cell phone inside the house.
It's one of those Obama phones. It's one of those.
Okay, it's about. Do you know what the phone number is for that?
Yeah, I do. It's I never use it hardly.
Okay.
Because of the work, not being able to predict a whole month of our finance in advance, we pay our room, which is $300 a week, and we weren't sure if we could both keep phones.
Right.
So I got that phone approximately, I don't know, one got stolen when the van got stolen. I had one in there. So I just called them up, and it's a
They
give me
transferred
phone.
the phone number.
Yeah, it's one of those they give it to you and give you 200 minutes a month.
Cricket
and,
phone.
it's free. It's a free phone
Oh,
from
the
government.
Obama phone one.
Yeah, it's a free phone. Now, my Cricket, we're just not sure how long we're going to be able to keep it because of the bill for it.
Right.
We can't afford it.
Right.
And hers is a little higher because she has all the apps and everything on there, the internet or whatever. Her bill's more expensive.
Right.
And we just, as a matter of fact, today actually just stopped in there after lunch to get, you have to renew, if you have Cricket, you have to get it changed over by January 1.
Right.
I think they call it migrating, something like that. So we had the old phones, and so we had to get them turned over to new phones, and we just did that today. I don't think there's anything I can think of about this thing that you're looking at in question. I just can't. I mean, I was willing to let
me ask you this, because I'll ask you some specific things.
do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. So one of the things, and we talked about the jewelry and stuff. So
It's
I
all,
noticed,
yeah.
I noticed you pawn a lot of jewelry as well. So where does that come
Not a lot, just a little bit. What I do is, and she's actually been with me several times, I stop at garage sales and I'll get silver or gold broken. And I save a little bit of it until I have them, $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $80 worth, and then I'll actually sell it, not pawn it.
Mm-hmm.
I buy it and sell it. But not very often, not all the time, is because people are in a crunch for money. There's not a lot of it available. So, I mean, like I have a coin, if you look at my wallet, they took it. I have a coin that I bought. It's a 1895, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And I like I dabble in trinketry, is what I call it. Trinkets, just dabble in it. I don't have no secular interest to have a lot of it or anything like that. I just sometimes, if it comes available and I could afford it and I could make money off of it, I would get it.
Sure. So one thing as part of our investigation that we're going to do, all of the jewelry we found there.
It's all junk.
Yeah,
it's all
we seized the
stuff.
jewelry, and we're going to do some investigation on it. But once the investigation's done, we'll get that stuff back to you.
Okay, now what about the knives y'all already took?
It's all part of the investigation.
Are they ruled out already? Or
no, all this stuff takes a while. The stuff that we do, it takes a while. So we have to. It takes us.
Yeah, because that was
unfortunately nothing is really fast, and that's part of what the deal is that we are. Sometimes we're waiting on information to come. We can't just wait for stuff to come. That's why we have to continue our investigation. So tomorrow a break may come that breaks the case wide open.
and get me off the radar or whatever you're saying. Okay.
Or put you more firmly on it. It depends on the situation,
well,
right?
I know that I don't have anything to do with it.
So yeah. But I'm just saying that's. But so in the meantime, we have to do that. So sometimes, I ask questions. Sometimes I ask questions, I know the answer. Sometimes I ask questions, I have no idea. But I get the answer later from a separate source or something like that. So one of the things that we do and are going to do, like all the stuff that we pawned, all the stuff that we pawned, is that we're gonna take that stuff and we're gonna check it for DNA. And we're gonna make sure that it doesn't have any. Obviously, we know it's gonna have your stuff on it. But we have we have a reference sample from you. That's why we got it. And make sure that there's nothing from any of our victims that's on it. Okay.
Right.
The main thing I'm concerned about is this. The main thing I'm concerned about is murder. Okay. I don't really investigate all that other stuff. Okay.
This is.
That's for you. Yeah, that's water. So here's the thing, and I'm kind of glad that I'm talking to you because you're kind of more of a what I would say, kind of more of an experienced type of person. You've been around the system,
I've been handled roughly.
So I've
never been treated fairly by the system in any fashion. Even when I chose to do 15 years on a cockamamie story, that if you go back and look at the story yourself, okay, which I'm sure you can do because I'm sure there's a report of it. If you go back and look at for yourself, you will see that it's a cockamamie thing.
That 93 case.
Yeah, and I did the time for it.
Sure.
And the whole time I learned and studied how can I keep myself away from this kind of stuff.
Right.
And just because of my situation with work, I've been working at 7-Elevens. Unbelittled to me, I'm highly more skilled than that.
Right.
But I would rather do that than to go any other route.
Right.
I can barely make a paltry living.
But here's the point I want to make to you, and I think you'll understand this because you've probably seen guys do the same thing. And that is, so, like when I go in and I'm investigating something, I'm investigating murder. I really don't care about all the other stuff, you know what I mean? But if it comes up, it comes up, and if people are lying to me, then then I'm gonna use it against them however I need to.
Right.
If I need to do it for my investigation, that's what I'm gonna do. So I always make sure I tell people, hey, listen, I'm investigating a murder. Okay,
which takes precedence over anything smaller.
If you're trying to worm your way out of theft or something like that, something minor, in order to avoid a theft, you might just get yourself into a situation where you get hemmed up on a murder. And that's what we don't want to have happen. So it's very important. I'm not trying to hem you up. It might seem like I am. I'm not. I'm just the opposite. The quicker I can get you off the radar, the better it is for me, because then.
Does my wife understand your side?
Yes. Yeah. We explain all of this to her.
Okay.
So, but.
Yeah, because I don't know anything about murder.
Okay. So I know
a little bit about some other things, but not that.
Yeah. So let me ask this, because this is a key thing, and this is something that might have happened, is that did anyone give you anything to pawn or give you anything, and now looking back on it went, well, man, I don't want to have that one held over my head, because now that the cops are looking at it. Because sometimes people who don't have a clean record will get somebody else who can pawn stuff, aren't red flagged and stuff, to pawn stuff. So that'd be important for me to know, because I don't want you to get hemmed up over.
This was December the 6th, and this is December the 30th.
Right. So this month.
No, because I did have a gold nugget, just a nugget, one of those, it looks like a nugget.
Right.
I did have that, and I actually pawned it, but it's just a nugget. It has no...
Is that the only thing you pawned this month?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
And where did you get that nugget from?
I've had it for about a year.
Do you remember where you got it from originally?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think now that you brought that up, because that's something I do a little bit of, not much of. Mm-hmm. And I think the ticket was in the room for it.
Okay.
I think y'all might have.
Well, whether we had the ticket or not, I didn't do the whole search myself. So whether we had the ticket or not, we'll check your pawn history.
Can I
We'll
know
check.
what all you took from there?
Yeah, we can let you know what was taken.
Yeah,
But
because I
you
don't
can
think
bet that
there-
any jewelry that was there was taken.
Yeah, I
and
don't think anything was bad in there.
right.
My wife wouldn't stand for it, and I really wouldn't either. It'd bother me. I wouldn't like to have it around if it's something I can't, explain.
Well,
or
was your
told her
wife
I
aware
got.
that you had all that stuff in there?
The definite, yeah. Well, okay. That's when you're saying all that stuff. The only thing I know about that's even within there is the book container.
Okay.
Okay.
But did she know that? Did you have
And I
that?
had a couple of other pieces in a basket on the table with the microwave.
Right.
And it's just that Mother Teresa, and I think it's just a couple of little hoops that you hook a medallion with, like if you were going to hook one onto a chain. And I do that, just tinkering with it. I have a couple of little pliers that I use, and I tinker with that. I tinker with jewelry or stones. I like to tinker with it, or watches. I can fix a broken one. I can fix anything, actually,
So that golden nugget thing, you said that you pawned this month. And you said you had it about a year. Do you remember?
I don't remember if it was this month or I thought it was before Thanksgiving.
Was that the last thing you pawned?
Yeah, that's the last thing I've dealt
Do you
with.
remember
in a
where
while.
you got it at?
I'm trying to think of where. It's been about a year since I got that. Because if I tell you the truth, it's going to hurt. You see, if I tell you that what I used to buy it with, you're going to think I'm a bad person, but I'm not.
What did you use to buy it with?
I used some to
okay.
trade for it to buy it.
Okay.
Honestly.
Right.
And I got it about, I think I was living still at Marcel. So it would have been, this is 2014. It would have been like, when I got it, would have been like 2012.
Right.
So I've had it for a couple of years. I used to wear it, actually.
Oh, okay.
And then I decided we needed the money because the room's expensive.
Right.
And I decided to actually I don't have much interest anymore in it. When I was working, had a few extra bucks, I could afford to buy something for $15 and sell it for $25.
Right.
The $25 would help pay a bill.
So how much did this nugget did you?
It's only worth about $100. It's just, it's 4 or 5 grams, 6 grams. It's nothing. It's not nothing serious. It's just one little nugget that ain't going to change.
Right.
It's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
I'm trying to think a minute, and I'm pretty sure that's it. Like, if I had my wallet in there, I could show you. I get the broken. Ladies' gold chains or men's gold chains are different. Men's are thick like this, and it weighs a lot. It's heavy.
Right.
They have little bitty thread-sized ones that are ladies, and they don't weigh nothing. You could have 3 or 4 of them, and it might only be 1 or 2 grams of gold.
Right.
So it's only worth like $50. People don't even check because they're so small to see if they are real or not. I will actually go to Grus's, which they don't have them right now. It's too cold. But up until like the 10th month, the 11th, up until right before Thanksgiving, they'll still have them, especially in the area where we are. And we were visiting my brother one day, and we stopped, and I got a handful of silver for like $6, which was worth like $30, because it's $15, $16, $18 an ounce.
Right.
And I got it, and she was actually with me, and we actually bought it. Had a yard sale, somebody moving out. Got it. But that's been, like in the summer. So nothing I can think of related anything to what you're looking for. The only thing I could even remotely think of is the day that you came by, and I told you, I said, hey, I'm going to remember to look through to see, do I have any names or the list of the day when I worked at that residence, which was back in the summer, I believe it was, or spring or summer. It might have been summer. It's been 6 months or so, or maybe 4, 5, 6 months. I don't remember exactly when it was. But I did, at that time, I always do that, is I take notes of who it is that called me, what do they need, okay? And I write that stuff down. And then, like, that particular person, I've worked with him before, or for him before. Mm-hmm. We mended a fence on one of his properties one time, and let me see, what else did we do? We built a pad at his actual residence. Can't cow path, something like that, 183 area. We built a pad in his yard, a design scape.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with him then. He called me in on that. But I only go to any of these people they call me. I don't go.
So I want you to tell me what you remember about this one, because we had talked about that a little bit. So this
remember,
one, it was over on Tamarack.
I remember the area vaguely, but I remember getting into the area and having to get instruction on where it was.
Right.
Okay. It's on the west side of Mopac and Palmer area. You go right when you go to the second light, something like that.
Yeah,
I remember exclusively having to get directions on how to get to it.
And what do you remember that the job was there?
I think it was a French drain in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure. And it was just like where there's the carport or the patio, and then where the roof drops and drains and it runs everything back up on the patio. And there was planting grass because the grass is like that, sloped back to the patio. So every time it rains, it's gonna wash right down.
Right.
So we planted grass to build it up to keep it from running back. And then he had a French drain already there, but it wasn't functioning. So I told him, I said, hey, Mr. James, if you want this to function correctly, you're going to have to dig it down. You're going to have to put a liner in there, and you're going to have to put rocks back in there so the water will filter through. The rocks won't be together, so then like when rocks hit, they hit like that or this, and then the water can go through it and drain out. And we dug it all the way around, if I remember correctly, all the way past the actual slab,
right,
to the where it would drain out the gate and not run up on the patio,
right,
because that's
okay. So how long was that job?
It was split up into several. He was there with some girl once or twice. So I think it's like 6 or 8 different times I went over there to his. He's one of those kind of people that comes to see, if it fits his standards or not.
And did it?
I think at the end it finally did, but it was hell getting there. Okay, he's some kind of engineer or something, or he's some kind of highfalutin guy, and he's real astute. He wants to line straight, directly or whatever, and. Yeah, as far as I know, he paid. So as far as I know, he was okay with it, or I wouldn't have paid if it was me. And
You don't remember him having any concerns about the job?
Yeah, he said it was taking a long time, and I tried to tell him, hey, it's raining. It's you're trying to dig in mud.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy thing to do. What you're asking me to do. I'm going to do it, but it's not an easy task. You need equipment in here. I was doing it with just a pickaxe and a shovel.
Right.
Just with my bare hands,
Right.
Yeah, it was very lengthy. He changed up once or twice the idea or the concept that he wanted to use, and then he wanted to bring in, we were going to use what was already there. So this is why it took so long. He had me dig out the rock that was in there and screen the dirt off of it, and so it takes a minute to do all that,
sure.
and he should have known, because he's the one asking me to do the work. He should have known what this is going to entail,
Right.
And it's not an easy task, but I did it. And I finally, I think he was a little, only thing is, I remember specifically is that he called me and asked me, what did he owe me? And I said, well, this is how many hours I got in at James. So you decide, I'll leave it up to you, but this is how many hours I got. And if you want to be fair about it, then you'll meet somewhere close to these hours. And he didn't. It was a little under that, just a tad under. But that was okay with me because when you're just standing there screening rock that you dug up, you're not working very hard.
Right. So the guy who hired you, what was his name?
His name is...
He owned the house?
Yeah, he's the owner.
He didn't live there?
I thought he did at one time.
Okay.
Or I'm
But at
not
the time
sure.
you were doing the work, was he living?
I don't think he was. I think he lived on Cow Patty or Cow Path. He's the owner,
Right.
as far as I know.
Right. And do you remember having any contact with the person who did live there?
No, I just remember her coming and going in some kind of a, I want to say it was a Suburban, but I'm not sure. It could have been a Yukon or whatever, some kind of an SUV, a big SUV,
Right.
coming and going a couple of times, while, actually talked to the lady while I was there.
Okay.
And just said, hey, this is Tim. This is the guy that does a lot of work for me, and he'll be doing this job, or whatever. Something like that initially.
Do you remember talking to you or having some concerns about that you brought somebody else to the job?
Yeah, we didn't work, though. We didn't work that day. It was rained out. It was bad weather. It was that where we had those, I call them freaky rains, but it's where it's sun shining, but then it's going to rain.
Right.
Predicted to rain 20, 30, 40%, but it'll still rain.
But you did go to the job site with another person?
I think I might have had, yeah, that's the thing I was going to look up and see who that was. Anytime somebody helps me, I usually have some kind of a data on them of some kind, and I've only used a few. I've only used a few helpers over the years, and I don't do this that much. You see, I don't do this kind of work that much, only in between regular jobs.
And you ever use your brothers to help you out?
No, I help them.
Help them? Okay.
Yeah, I help them. At that residence that he owns another one, and I've helped do a fence and let me think, a fence in a driveway, I think, or stone in a driveway, something to do with the stone in a driveway, at another building, another residence that he owns, that guy, Mr. And his last name is bewildering to me, but it's Mr. James, that's what I call him. So, and his last name, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm a little out of sort because I got to pee again, but it's pretty bad.
So just a quick question. When we talked about this before, but I just want to clarify. So you never went into the house while you were working?
No. Yeah, definitely not.
So,
definitely not.
You got to pee a lot. You didn't ever have to go in and use the restroom in there?
No, I'm kind of pretty, I'll piss outside. I never do that. Right. Unless, if you calling me to go fix a broken sink or something,
sure,
you're going to be there,
right.
Because I don't need no kind of, anything, where you think I'm involved with anything.
Right. Well, and the thing is, and the reason I asked,
I'm kind of cautious about that.
Yeah, that is an important thing, especially in this particular circumstance, because, obviously, like you say, one of the things we check is DNA.
Yeah.
And even when somebody is, wearing work gloves or whatever, going in and out, there's still a lot of times will leave DNA there at the scene. So, we like to make sure that someone's been inside, that we make sure that we get them identified, and if there's a reason that they might have left their DNA there at the scene.
Yeah, I do not remember going inside at all.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I don't ever remember even, I think just one day, but I'm not even sure. I think one of the days, Mr. would probably remember having me meet him over there and taking me to show who I am to the person. Right. So this guy's going to be back there doing that French drain. And like I said, never.
So might you have been in the house?
No, I take my own drinks. I take my own drinks. I take my own food. I don't. Like you saw in the van, I got it in the summertime. I'll take a container full of tea, and then I go to corner stores. Grab a 99-cent brisk tea or grab ice water. That's one of the things I'm a decent guy. Okay, right. So I don't even leave my cigarette butts.
Right.
Okay, I put my cigarette butts when I'm working. I put my cigarette butts in my pocket. And your officer, which I'm hoping that's going to be fixed, because it's going to cause me a lot of headache if I have to get arrested for driving while license suspended. Because then the parole people are going to come in. The last time this just recently happened, I ended up spending 90 days. I almost got my wife to where she thought I was doing some kind of, hey, if you're going to get in trouble all the time, this happened. Okay, now, as far as I know, okay, I'm just going to ask. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure you would know. As far as I know, I need to be driving the car, and you need to pull me over in the car.
Well, if they observe you operating the car.
Okay, well, that y'all did do. Okay, I was coming because she told me y'all are there, and I'm like, she didn't say it was you. I probably wouldn't have been so pretentious had it. She had said that it was you.
Right.
Because you're somebody I met, and you treated me fairly.
Right.
So that's, as long as that still exists, then, I can always try to meet that fairly. But if that doesn't exist, and I get screwed, then, that's...
No one's trying to screw you, okay? I mean, you do, understand, okay? You're not allowed to drive the car.
Right,
okay?
I understand that. I do know that.
So there's going to be some sort of enforcement action. There's going to be a ticket at the very least, okay? So
for today, though? Just because of today, because y'all are in for there at the residence and I didn't know that you're there, all you had to do was call me. I would have been there.
Right.
You see?
Well, I can't help...
Let me know. Just let me know you need to search the place. I probably would have let you then if you would have let me walk in and wake her up.
Sure.
You could search it right then. I'm totally trying to do.
Well, I'll talk to the officer when I'm done here. Okay, I can't make any guarantees. Okay. So
if he wants to give me a ticket, that's different.
Right.
I can pay the dang ticket. But if he's going to let it go to where I have to get in a lot of trouble. And have to deal with.
So let's focus. Hey, let's. I totally understand your concern. I'm not doing that. But I want to stay focused on the important thing. Okay. That's what I call little trouble. Okay. A ticket or even going to jail for a ticket. That's little tiny trouble. Okay. Big trouble is murder. Okay. Murder is big trouble.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm really trying to steer you away from.
Yeah. Okay? I don't think there's anything. I mean, I've tried to think since the other day, and I tried to think when y'all were there. I just don't think there. I mean, anything I know or anything I could.
Oh, something that did come up while we were there at the house. So I do want to ask you about this. While I was searching, you have a gray fleece jacket that hangs on the door there.
Yeah, it's been there
Lexus jacket.
It's been there for a minute. Yeah, it's been there for a minute.
Anyway, in the pocket of that jacket, there's a bunch. So it's my job to to just find out about these things. So I'm asking. You're giving me an explanation.
That's and actually, I don't need an issue. This is what I'm saying. I don't need any kind of an issue with law enforcement. I'm trying to do everything I can.
I get it. We're trying to do everything we can. And that's why we're here. Okay, So
I didn't like this actual method, but I understand. You have to do
use methods that.
All you have to do is just tell me, hey, I want to search the place, and I'm like, come on, I'll stay right here until you get here.
So, what are your thoughts? Let's talk about Tamarack a little bit more. So, do you remember? I guess you met the woman, but that was about it.
It was so vague, I wouldn't even.
So it didn't ring a bell when there was news reports about a murder over there.
I didn't ever see them or know of them, as far as I know. Did y'all publicize it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I didn't ever know. We read the paper. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you saw that. We get the Sunday paper, and we also get holiday papers.
Right.
Okay, she's just astute about that. And I don't think we read about it.
So let me just ask you a question. Do you know anyone else who's been murdered this month? Shouldn't be a hard question.
Who's been murdered? You mean
this month?
Yeah, somebody. She went to some funeral and a church thing for something.
Who did?
My wife did. She actually. I couldn't go. I was actually working. Somebody from our church. I didn't know them, but they're from our church.
Did your wife know them?
I think so. I think she did, or she knew maybe from the church knew them. Our church is real old. There are a lot of older people there, and hey, did you let me throw a leak again?
Yeah, sure.
I'm in bad shape right here.
Actually, can you hold on one second? I'm gonna have an officer walk over there because I want to talk to someone else.
That was much better.
Sure, we were talking about these people from the church.
I don't know anything about it. She just told me something about it from the paper. She would know more than I would. She brought me the thing from the church.
And so what did she say? I mean, what did she say?
She just said she knew them.
Yeah.
She knew them from the church. You got to understand, the church is really weird. I go there, and I set up all the tables. And then, like, right after we have the dinner or the whatever function we're having, they break down the tables, and they're all old. So I do it, okay? And then there's one or two other guys that help do it, and they're actually pretty old, and they shouldn't be doing it. But I do it. So basically, I don't get involved in the church stuff for the people. I'm kind of busy either in the kitchen or doing the tables or whatever. You know, I'm just kind of there. We got married there in the church. Mm-hmm. And so we're not like very active members of the church, but we go there some. It's been a while since we went, though, about a year or so. They just have functions sometimes they'll invite us for.
So what did your wife tell you had happened to these people?
I don't think she knew us other than just whatever the paper said. She read about it. The only thing I remember is we were laying there, and she read something in the paper about it, and then she looked at me, and she had a couple of tears in her eyes, so I said, "What's wrong, baby?" And she said that she knew those people.
Oh,
okay, so, or maybe not knew in the sense of like first name basis or whatever, but knew, you know, them from the church, you know, and knew that they were members of the same church. And then, like, a lot of the people don't go very much because they're healthy and they're old, you know, so they don't go a whole lot. So you wouldn't see them. Like, I used to go to Bible study Sunday mornings at 9:30, and just Bible study, but there's a service after, and there's a service, you know, a breakfast or a lunch or whatever, and I didn't go to none.
So you never met these people? If I told you what their names were, their name was Shelton, you never met them?
I only just knew because my wife had told me about it, you know, and she brought me the thing that they give you when you're there, when you go to the thing.
So you didn't go to the funeral?
No, I was busy working. I think she asked me or told me she was going to try to go, and then her schedule was like she just barely got off from work in time to go or something like that. I don't remember. I just vaguely remember it. I don't, you know, I was kind of like the day when you ran into me as to why you found the stuff in the gray fleece jacket. Okay.
So let me ask you, actually, we're talking about stuff from the apartment. So
that's the only thing I can think
there's
of.
In the backpack, you have a backpack, and there was some jewelry in that backpack as well, including some in a box.
Oh, yeah, that's actually, it was bought. It's actually a blue and purple stone, silver ring, something like that. And it's in a case, and it was actually bought. And that should have been, I think there's only a watch or two couple of old watches. I used to wear them all the time like you do, but I don't anymore. And
so there were a lot of jewelry bags in there, like, you know, like the bags that you buy jewelry in, that sort of thing.
Little velvet bags or little plastic bags.
Right.
Yeah, I keep a few of those around for that. I actually have things in them. You know, like usually I'll put it up. If it's not junk for the kids to play with, I put it up. I put it away.
Right.
And it would be inside one of the bags. There's nothing stolen,
so tell me about
nothing related to a murder or anything in there.
Right. So tell me about this box that has a ring in it.
It has a purple and a blue stone in it, and it has some. It's all. It's a brand new box.
Where did you get it?
It came from Christmas. It was meant to be a gift, and they decided against giving it for Christmas.
Who did?
Actually, my sister, and she'll know about it if you care to ask her.
And what's her name?
Her name is. In other words, there's nothing, you know.
So she had originally bought it.
Well, I don't know, you know, other than it was supposed to go to someone and it didn't go to somebody around Christmas.
So you got it from her?
Yeah, I got it from,
Okay. And And what's the phone number? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it belongs. Yeah, it's brand new. It belongs to them. There's not, man. You obviously don't believe me, but there's nothing that I would not let you search or deal with.
Well, I'm a little concerned. I mean, when I see stuff, I'll tell you, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I just have to look at things in an objective way. You know?
Check out your records for back with me, and I will actually even, given the chance, I will actually show you all receipts for everything ever bought from the pawn shop. And there's a stack like this.
Sure.
Okay, so I don't do it. I did it a lot in 07, 08, 09. I kind of sort of messed with trinkets a little bit, but kind of quit because of financial. You can't afford it. But I have the receipts for everything, that I've ever bought. I have the receipts. It's a big stack of them. Mm-hmm. And I also even have bought 3 men's pieces and kept the receipt. It was a large purchase. I was working for the moving company and driver for a moving truck and making good money, like $700, $800, $900 a week.
Right.
Plus tips.
Right.
Plus tips. So it'd be like another half a paycheck. And tips.
So you're a pretty healthy guy. I know you got the key.
I'm very knowledgeable. I can do any kind of plumbing, any kind of electrical, not major electrical where you tie into the power source, but like ceiling fans or these lights or
yard work. Obviously, yard work.
Not so much. I can tell others how to do it and make sure it gets done right.
Sure. Right.
Pretty much. And I can make sure make sure the job goes well on a major scape. They call it hardscaping, is what they call it.
Right.
It's where there's a lot of stones and a little bit of plants and makes it look really cool. I'm curious, it bugs me a little bit. When I stepped out of my van, they didn't have weapons drawn on me, but they said I was not under arrest. Okay. I asked you, am I under arrest?
Well, I think at that moment they were detaining you, so they hadn't really made a decision at that point.
And I always want to know.
I don't know. Sure,
I always want to know what is going on.
Right.
I try to be alert to that.
Well, and I'm trying to keep you up to date on what's going on. And one thing that's going on for sure is that we're conducting a murder investigation. Here's an interesting thing. Okay, so as we discussed, okay.
Are you liking me for this thing, or are you liking to try to, make sure that I'm not liked for this thing?
Here's the deal, okay? Here's the deal. This is what I want, and this is not trying. I'm not trying to be pat, okay? What I'm trying to do is, if you did it, I want to get the proof on you. If you didn't do it, I want to get you out of the way as soon as I possibly can.
Yeah, I want to do the same thing.
So, and here's what I
didn't do it.
Okay, I get it. Here's what I'm running into, okay? So.
You're looking for anything little.
You got there, but here's the thing too, okay? And some we just discussed, and that is that. So you have Kathy Blair over on Tamarack, right? You were over at her house.
Well, I heard you say the name, but I didn't. She didn't contract me or anything. I wouldn't even know her.
Here's the deal too, okay? Weird coincidence. The Sheltons, you also have a connection to the Sheltons, too.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't. I mean, I didn't know them or anything.
You go to the same church.
But you got to understand
and your wife knows them pretty well enough.
She knew them. But I didn't. They're separate.
And just to be on the safe side, you've never been in their house, right?
Never been in their house.
Because she did.
Never been in their house.
Your wife did massage and stuff like that over for them at their house.
She had said something about she knew them.
Okay.
Yeah. But I was.
So you never went in.
No, I didn't have nothing.
I just want to make sure. Because that's, again, when we're talking about just making sure that if we see something, we have an explanation. It's like I ask you, everything that we've done, everything I've seen that concerns me, I ask you, and you give me an explanation. Okay? Like,
I want to make sure.
I ask you, you give me an explanation.
I want to make sure that
found jewelry, I ask you, you give me an explanation. And that's what I'm looking for. So when I'm asking you stuff,
I want to make sure we can put it all on the table
for
here.
Explanation, okay? And I'm not trying to BS you. I'm not trying to do it. But it is just kind of weird that
I thought y'all were
that
looking
you
for
just happen
knives.
to you happen to know people that were
Well, duh.
3 people have been murdered this month. Okay,
How many people?
well, 3. There was the Sheltons were murdered and Kathy Blair was murdered.
The Sheltons, more than one?
Yes.
She had just said it was the lady.
Well, maybe she just knew the lady.
Yeah, maybe that's what she meant. Yeah.
So that's a weird coincidence. It doesn't mean that you did it. Okay?
Yeah, well, I
Okay, so
definitely
that's a weird
didn't do it.
coincidence. All right.
I
It
mean,
doesn't even mean that
yeah, we can
that
do
this-
whatever it
that-
takes.
That it just means that we got 2 unsolved cases. Okay, and you're kind of a link between those 2 unsolved cases. So that's what makes it so weird. So now you
Yeah,
kind of understand what I'm
that's
looking at. I'm like,
weird.
that's weird.
That's weird.
Right? So I got to look at you. I got to, because when I find the right guy, they're going to say, well, why didn't you look at this guy? You were obviously focused on my guy and not on this. So I got to do it. I got to look at you.
Is there anything that I should do or can do that you can advise me of that I should,
Well, if you can help us,
Yeah,
like one thing I want to try to figure out, and I don't know, maybe you don't remember, but are you? And the biggest thing, I'll just tell you this, and the answer to that question right there is to tell the truth. I mean,
Yeah,
100% tell the
yeah.
truth. And listen, I know you're saying it always, but listen, I've also been a cop for over 20 years, so I know that people lie to the cops. Okay, it's just normal.
Well, I'm not interested.
Even my friends lie to me because I'm a cop. It just happens. Okay, especially a guy who's been around the block a few times. Okay?
I put it straight up with you. I put it straight up front.
And I don't hold that against you.
Yeah.
Okay, but in this case, it is super, super important that I get just the truth, even if it's bad, even if it makes you look bad. I'm not worried about that. I'm honestly not worried about you looking bad. I'm just worried about
I told you.
getting the truth.
Okay, now
Yeah, I know.
you can
You
follow
told
the
me some
record.
stuff already. Yeah,
You can follow the record. Check it out.
Right.
When they found me asleep, they found a little bit of weed.
Right.
They piss tested me, and my piss was clean.
Right.
They're asking me, well, why did we find weed?
Right.
Because it has a more powerful dollar component.
You can buy
Okay.
other stuff.
Well, no, it's just the dollar's only worth $1.
Right.
But with this, you can actually use it for something that you could buy that would gain you more of $1.
Right.
You
Right.
see, that's why they
So it's
found
just
a
a
little bit.
unit of exchange.
Yeah, that's exactly why they found it. And so then it actually came up, that my PO comes over there, and I had to tell her the truth too. And it didn't look good on me. I told her the truth, and I did 90 days in jail and was released. But if you look at those records, that would tell you, that's why he had a little bit of weed. I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I mean, that's all little stuff.
Yeah,
Okay?
it's-
So the big stuff is the big stuff. Okay, so here's
I
another
might
big
know a
thing.
few little things, but I don't know any big.
There's another big things through a variety of ways.
I don't
Okay,
know any.
and through a variety of ways, and I can't get into all of them. You can probably imagine a few of them, but through a variety of ways, we can kind of figure out where people are at a lot of times. Okay,
Okay.
and
I'm an old man. I'm a nickel and dime
so
kind of
the
guy.
important thing is we need to know on that night that the murder happened on Tamarack was 5th and 6th. Would you have been over there for any
No,
reason at all?
hell
Over in that
no,
area?
hell no,
And on the
no.
night the Sheltons were killed, and that was
I just
closer on.
vaguely remember her reading about it in the paper to me.
So let me tell you the date on that. That was the 15th.
15.
Okay.
Would
So it could have happened the 14th.
Would I have been in that neighborhood? Is that what you're asking me? No.
Now that's, you know what neighborhood it is?
I think so. She had said right close by the church area.
Okay.
So that's just,
You know
that's
what
basic.
street they lived on?
I think she said, it can't be that many because there's, the church is on Woodrow, and she said that they lived close by the church, so it's in between Koenig and probably Anderson.
Does
Anywhere.
Brentwood ring a bell?
Yeah, it does actually. Brentwood does because that's where I actually lived
So you lived on Brentwood.
in 07.
Yeah.
In 07.
Well, I also saw that you were trying to rent a place on Brentwood. Brentwood?
Yeah, I was trying to write one there, but it didn't come through. I called the man several times and didn't come through.
So this is some of the stuff. I mean, this is, again,
Yeah,
it's coincidence
you don't
stuff.
book where you
we need
live.
to-
You know.
you shouldn't.
Yeah, you don't.
Some people do,
You don't.
know.
Yeah, you don't.
So we'd be dumb not to talk to you, and
But
get
when
to
you talk to me,
anything.
you talk to me once.
Right.
Okay. The procedure or the methodry in which you're talking to me the second time is probably what I would not have, expected from
Sure.
you. I would have expected you to somehow or another approach me the way you did the day that I met you, or any other time. You could notify me that you need to speak with me or whatever, or anything.
Right.
And I would have gladly obliged.
Well, there are a lot of different ways that we could have done this.
Well, the methodry was a little.
Yeah. So
My girl's health is.
I take responsibility for the method, but there are other methods more harsh that I could have used. So
Yeah, when you're
gone to your parole officer or done a variety of different things.
She's
like
already
that.
called me to change the appointment. My appointment was on the 12th,
Right.
and she changed it to the 6th. I don't know why. She just called me and said that. So, and she asked me if that was okay, and I said, of course. As long as I know what I'm supposed to be doing, then I can do it.
Right. So so getting back to the Brentwood thing, I mean, because I think it's important that I at least ask and try to find out. Obviously there's
Wouldn't know anything
there's there's some connection there. You go to the same church with the people, live on the same street. So,
But it's
trying to figure
way
out.
the heck on the.
Yeah, the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known anything.
Right.
I'm trying to transpute it just in my
Right.
head, and it's not.
But as you see, there's a
about-
lot of coincidences that are going on. So that's
Yeah.
what. And in my line of work, coincidences kind of set off alarm bells. So we have to look at those.
You
We
can
have to
rule them out,
check
though.
We,
or
we
rule
can,
them
but it
in.
takes a lot of work. And
Yeah, rule
this
them
is
out
the
or
one-
rule them
This
in,
is
either
the
way.
process that we use to rule it out.
I'm sorry,
That's the
because
people
this
that work with
process is kind of not.
So on the 15th, do you have any recollection of what you might have been doing on the 15th?
Oh yeah, we do that every night. We sleep together every night. I mean, she works 4 to 12, so
Right.
unless I go do laundry, and that only takes about an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes she'll go to bed at 8, and I'll go do laundry and get home at 10. Because I'll leave right when she's going to bed, and I'll be back in bed. And then as soon as I get in bed, she wakes up. You see, she knows I'm there.
So I
I sleep with
this
her
month-
every night.
This month, there wouldn't be any situation where she said, well, I got home from work and he was gone, or he came home, or he left, sometime during the night, unexpectedly, nothing like that.
No. I sleep with her every night. And then most of the time, if she wants to take it, I make her breakfast in the morning on the way to work.
Right.
I usually make her either a sandwich and grapes or cucumbers, or I make her healthy stuff.
Right.
And I make her lunch. If she wants to take it, I make it. She doesn't eat cereal, but when she comes home, she'll eat cereal. Yeah, I do. I've been doing that. I'm a good husband. I take care of her. I cook for her every day, and I make her lunches, and I do her nails, all the above. I'm with her all the time, in other words. Yeah, I'm believe it or not, I think I'm learning. I didn't ever think I would be, but she thinks I am.
So over the last month, just to be clear, so that I'm 100% clear, we wouldn't find any record of you being anywhere out at night.
No, yeah, not late at
You're
night.
always
no.
you're always
Yeah, 10-ish, it's the latest,
by 10. So after
I don't even
after
hardly-
10 or so.
Yeah, after 10 or so, we're in bed, for sure, Unless I just step out the door to smoke a cigarette, because she doesn't smoke. So, and I was curious, I need one badly, but I have some with me in my stuff. I would step out I don't even close the door or lock it because it makes noise. I just step out right there in front of the door, and hotel people will be able to tell you that I step out there and smoke, and they'll come by, especially the old lady. She's real cool. And she'll talk with me a second as she's passing by. And it's just long enough to smoke a cigarette, and I go right back in. If I wake up in the middle of the night, I may smoke a cigarette and then go right back to bed. Or get a cup of tea and go back to bed.
Right.
We have a common normal.
Yeah. So, and I should tell you, because this is, I try to tell people this every time, when we sit down in this type of investigation because of the seriousness of it.
Right.
Every single thing that you tell me, we're going to check. Okay.
Yeah, it
and
matters.
I think you would expect that.
It matters. Yeah.
That's your tax money at work, so to speak. So he.
It ain't been at work on one issue. You remember that issue I asked you about?
Yes, and I'll send I'll message over to you.
You said you were going to do it. I hope you had done it already.
No, I haven't. So I apologize for that. But Friday, right after we got done on Friday, I had to go to another call, and today is the first day I've been back.
I have a curiosity question. You took 4 knives out of my van. I allowed you to take them.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't that be on the expediency list? Because I allowed you to do it.
Sure.
You see, of free will, voluntarily.
Yeah, everything is. We can only be as expedient as our
Lab
scientists
teams
will
or
allow us to.
Well, I know that those were,
right.
They were sitting in Southside Impound, so I know that those are all.
Right.
He had to dig to find those.
Right.
And like I said, the van it very seldom ever leaves. It's not even in the best of condition.
Right.
Just today, I had a jack with the brakes. That's actually on the side of the road when I was calling her to let her know, hey, I'm going to be a little bit late. The brakes are acting up and the brake light is on.
Right.
And there's a bolt missing out of the brakes. Mm-hmm. So I had to try to get the one to go. I had an extra one. I had to try to get it to go back in.
So these 2 phones that you have.
I never hardly use the other one. You can check its records or whatever. It just sits there just in case. Yeah, I never hardly use it.
So the other one, 803-4012.
It's my cell. It's in
no,
my
and
stuff.
you don't lend that to anybody.
No, hell no. Hell no.
So, and one of the things we do is we look at, as you may be aware, those cellular phones, they ping on different towers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we can use those towers to triangulate the location of a phone at any given time. It's kind of Big Brother-ish, but it's very helpful to our investigation.
Oh, you're more than...
So, and we've already started that process. So one of the things so that's why I ask you, things.
Yeah, my phone.
And so I just want to make sure that we're clear that you will...
cooperate in any way.
No. That you haven't been going out at night at all this month. I mean, we're not going to find you at 2 o'clock in the morning out in some other part of town away from your house.
Yeah, no. Well, I'm with my wife every night.
Okay, and so we're not going to find you over on Tamarack, or over there by Brentwood on nights of those murders.
Yeah, most definitely not. Okay.
So your brother is a deacon over. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what he does, but yeah.
Did you discuss at all the murders with him?
No, I did not.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, he knows better, so he wouldn't even...
So he doesn't mention, it's kind of an important thing that happened?
No, I think he just let my wife know when the service was going on or something or whatever. Right. And I may have translated a message about that. I think he said something to me about when the service was going to be or something like that. And I said, man, why don't you just go and find out? Why don't you just come as a guest and see for yourself so you could just... I can't explain how that church works.
That's huge. It's just huge. Is that what you're trying to say?
Well, I can't explain because when you're there, you only have a particular thing that you're doing.
Right.
And it encompasses the whole time you're there.
Right.
So... whatever's going on over here or over there, you're not going to know because that's not what you're doing.
Right.
See, so there's all kinds of stuff going on there. They have so many things going on. They have sewing clubs. They have excursions for the youth. They have, now I do pay attention to the youth, though.
Right.
Because my niece is one of them. Her name's and I try to make sure they don't have cellular devices on, during church service. They got these little toy games and pads and all this jazz now. Well, I don't agree with any of that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I heard about the church and talking to the people at the church is that there's been a lot of discussion at the church about these murders because it involved 2 of their parishioners.
Oh, yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah.
But you didn't hear about any of that stuff?
Or participate in it? No.
No, not participate, but just hear the gospel that's going on.
No. Other than I think there's one guy named and I believe he's the son or the nephew of one of the other people of the church, had said something about it vaguely, and I don't remember even what it was, but something to the tune. I wanted to say that I'm not sure. Okay, this is very not knowledgeable for me. I don't know about a lot of things. I know who's passing through the parking lot.
Right.
I know what time this store closes, or because it's right next door, the AutoZone, or some things like that. I could know about. But this kind of thing I wouldn't know about. You see, it's not from even in my thought pattern.
That just seems odd to me. And not knowing the dynamics, but it seems odd.
Yeah.
Because that was a big deal at that church.
I vaguely remember one thing, and I wanted to say brought it up, but I'm not even sure if I brought it up. But something about the car being taken.
The car being taken?
Their car being taken, or something like that.
Right.
And then later on, it was discovered that it wasn't taken, or something like that. Okay. That's only, I just vaguely remember hearing something about that. I don't even remember if it was one of either the nephew or the grandson of one of the others. He's around 20-ish or so, and he's a security guard. Just about the only thing I can remember is that. Something vaguely about their car, and then their car missing, and then their car was not missing.
Mm-hmm. No, okay.
Something like that.
When did you hear that? You remember when you heard about that?
No, I just remember hearing it through one of the church people. They were discussing, like you said, the only time they would say something to me is, Tim, we're setting up, or Tim, we're not setting up, or how are you doing, Tim?
Right.
Or something, you see?
Right.
It's kind of like the whole thing. You just have to go one time, you'll understand. Everything is structured. The people walking this way are going to this. Mm-hmm. The people over here are doing this.
Right.
And so this don't mess with that until after everything's all said and done. And you might say hi or bye on the way out or in the parking lot, or or you might hang, like I usually hang back and put up the tables or the chairs, and we're usually the last ones to go, like that. That's how it functions. It's very proper, very laid back kind of atmosphere. Like I wash dishes.
Right.
I'll be in the kitchen, so I don't know what's going on out there because I'm washing dishes, that kind of thing, or sweeping the floor. The last time I did it all the way was been about 6 months, probably time to do it again. But they set up a buffet or a dinner once a week in there. And the gym floor is rubber or vulcanized rubber. So you spill crumbs, etc. And over time it becomes gummied or gussied. Mm-hmm. And you have to mop it. That's the only way to get that stuff up. Right. Because it's foam. But it's covered foam. It's not like this raw foam. It's covered with plastic sealant kind of foam. And so once in a while I pay attention to that. So I'll be doing that, not paying attention to whatever's going on, because I'm busy doing that.
So we had discussed earlier, one of the things that you had asked me is, what can you do to help?
Yeah, because I told you I would look, and I never got the chance, but I would like to look.
So that's one thing that can help us, if you could figure out who you might have been with in there.
But I should have some notes about it somewhere. Yeah.
There's another thing that we do. It's an investigative tool we use in cases like this, where we're just trying to eliminate people as possible suspects. And
I did that already.
Right, and that is a polygraph.
Oh, yeah, I could do that too. Yeah. So if you want me to, I will. But I thought I was doing that when I did the DNA.
No, DNA is for, so people leave traces of DNA behind, like it could be in your hair, it could be in your skin, you could sneeze and blow it out, and people kind of tend to leave it all around. And even when they wear gloves and, get fingerprints or something like that, a lot of time we'll get DNA because they breathed on something, or they coughed on something, or hair fell out.
Yeah, understandable.
So we get that like that. So that's why we get that. Yeah. Well, that helps us,
And then you taking those weapons out of the car. You're calling them weapons, or he called them weapons that day. And to me, I think they're all 6 months or a year been in there.
Right.
I don't even remember the fourth one. I was looking over that list, the description list that he gave me, and I can't even really, he writes kind of fancy a little bit. I can't even really read the whole thing, but he said one of them was some type of a broken kitchen knife or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now that one I really can't even figure in my own head where it came from or how it got in there, but I know it's been in there since the van was stolen or before, because it sat in Southside for a good while,
Mm-hmm.
Before they ever let me know.
So what I'll do is I'll be able to get hold of you, and we'll make arrangements for the polygraph. And
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I don't mind
maybe
doing anything.
Tomorrow afternoon is
I don't mind doing anything that helps, okay?
Right.
But as long as it's remembered, hey, he helped us, let's help him back, because I had something I asked about, and I know for a fact that it was parked when it was stolen, and they broke that door lock. It was parked underneath that camera.
Right. And I'm going to take care of that.
And so there's something's
so I apologize for that. Well, by the same token, we talked, and you said you would check your stuff, and you didn't get around to it. I didn't get around to this, so I apologize that I didn't get around to it, but I will.
Am I under arrest at this time?
You are still under arrest for the thing, but I'm going to check with the officers.
Because I will gladly go look for. I think somewhere in that van or somewhere in some of that paperwork, there is info from that Tamarack job, because I remember keeping track of the hours, and I remember talking with him about it on the phone.
Okay.
I know for sure he would remember that.
So
See?
let me ask you a question. I don't know. What your feeling is on this sort of thing.
Well, I'm a little bit upset.
No, I know that, but so with regards to these murders, we have.
Yeah, you said three. I wasn't aware.
Three, but one's one is two, and I don't know if they're related or anything, but they're unsolved murders, right? So, I have a case where a couple of elderly people are killed. Okay, and I have a case where a woman was killed.
Do anything to warrant.
Yeah, and so, I try to think myself, but I'm a police officer, so I'm kind of like a little jaded with how I look at stuff, So I always ask people, what do you think should happen to somebody who did that?
Oh my God! Well, I don't know any of how it happened or what happened. Did they shoot them or what? I don't know anything. But I would think that if they were church members of our church, they were good people, and so they need to be punished.
Right.
I can't really step up. I did my 15,
right?
And I did it. It was tough.
Sure.
So they should have to do. I actually did. There's people coming in there for church and other things like
Doing
that.
Less time than you.
Huh?
Doing less time than you.
Yeah, I did less time than that.
Yeah,
and then not only that, it seemed like I got the raw shake every step of that 15.
Mm-hmm.
Every time there was a little disciplinary this or that or whatever, it was because they had a big hand and there's no other law to supersede the, like you have laws or morals to go by, or preferably morals over laws, but both. And there was never any of it.
Right.
And any of the dealings with me.
So you don't think in a situation like that,
they should be punished severely.
You don't think there's redemption that can happen for someone who did something like that?
We're taught to believe that in our Bible study class. We're taught to believe that they're, that they can. The worst people, because Paul was a murderer. We're taught that they can be saved by God.
Right.
But I would think that it would take God himself to be a part of it to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know about if any superior being or law enforcement or anything could actually say, well, hey, he's turned over a new leaf.
Yeah.
That
might not be our decision.
Yeah,
but at least that person, if it was from the church,
we talk about stuff like this. In our Bible study class, we talk about.
But at least if it was a person who was in
stuff.
church that did it. I don't know if it is or not, but if it was somebody, at least that person would know where to go to get that forgiveness. I guess they have to step up in that way.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: if you knew who did it, would you tell me? Even if
yes.
Even if it was a close relative.
Not just to. Because, you can look at the records from the past, and I think there's probably some senior people out there that know me well from before. the 80s and the 90s, I was not a, very compatible person, to be around.
What's the most serious thing you got investigated for?
That was it. Oh, no, I'll take that back. Lord have mercy, I take that back. And this still sticks with me to this day. I'm in the joint, and I was in jail when this happened.
Right.
And they still pulled me in for this, for the yogurt shop murders.
So if you were in jail, why did they pull you in?
I remember broad as day sitting up in the day room watching TV in a county. I think I was in prison, and I'm sitting up. I don't remember. I was locked up.
Right.
For something else. And I'm sitting up, and all of a sudden I'm looking up, and I'm seeing that on TV. Something's going on with some of these guys from that. And lo and behold, they pulled me all the way back from TDC back down here to Austin for that.
Just talk to you about that.
Yeah, and I'm like,
you were in jail when it happened.
They did not give a rat's ass how much hell and heartache that caused me from that point until 07 when I got out. They didn't give a damn. It was like, oh, we just yanked his chain and pulled him back and questioned him about that. When I got back here, I said, you look on your records, and it showed you I was locked up. I don't know nothing about it. I didn't have nothing to do with it. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Right.
And that was the end of it. But I was a little PO'd.
Yeah.
And I'm not PO'd with you. I mean, we're just two men trying to come to some kind of a medium.
Right.
And I'm cool with that. I wish more people could do that.
Right.
Maybe your buddy will learn some of it. He didn't have as much. He wanted to take 4 knives that are not pertinent to anything at all, and they've been in there for a long-ass time.
Right.
And that's bugging me. You can keep them as long as you wish. You can take a picture of them or put them on TV. I don't care what you do with them.
Right.
Just remember that you took them from me and they come back to me.
Right.
Yeah.
So...
That's all. Just treat me fairly.
That's what I'm trying to do. And if I'm not, I know you'll let me know.
Well, if there's an inch and you didn't have no choice,
right.
I can understand that. But if you got a choice and you can make a stand for something that's fair to, I'm an old guy. I'm obviously not in the shape to do what you're describing. I'm really not. Physically, I'm not in that shape.
To do what?
I'm not strong physically, okay? My feet are in bad shape. I don't walk very good. And I don't see myself, harming somebody like that. You'd have to go shoot them or something, or whatever. Maybe I could do that if they pissed at me off, but I don't even have a gun. Mm-hmm. So, how could I do that?
When's the last time you ever handled a gun?
Oh, my gosh. Jesus Christ almighty. This is 2014. Oh, it's been a pretty dang good while. Let me see. I can't even remember when. It had to have been, I think I got some remnants from, mostly it's just like either framing hatchets or like job knives, Mm-hmm. Nothing really illegal. Now, I'm not even sure if that dagger that y'all took is illegal or not because it's decorative.
If it's double-edged, it's illegal, so I have to look.
It is illegal?
Yeah.
I mean, just to have it in your home or whatever?
Oh, it's prohibited, so you can't, you can't.
You can't, legally buy them or own them? Not supposed to?
Buy them all, you're not supposed to, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of, switchblade.
Or a framing hatchet, maybe an odd, I don't know, I pretty much got rid of all my junk, pretty much. I'm trying to think, when was the last time? I guess it had to have been around 92, I guess.
Okay. So I asked this, I just want to, again, a lot of times I ask stuff just to make sure.
Yeah, you can do that test too if you need to.
One of the things I just want to make sure is that you had not, that if we come into contact with a weapon or anything like that was involved, like a firearm, let's say, that there's not going to be any of your fingerprints, DNA, anything like that.
Because you said you're a senior cop, can you jump to my side, like pull yourself out of your side and jump to my side for a second? If that was your van, and to me, this is a heinous thing to be asked about. Now, I got upset when they yanked me back through, because you know what that involves? That involves TDC chain.
Mm-hmm.
That involves going through a bunch of units where they check up your hole on every stop.
Right.
And you wait in these non-living areas on the concrete for hours and hours and hours, up to 2-3 days. And they're yanking me back for something. If they'd have done their homework, they'd have seen I was locked up when it happened. How could I have anything to do with it?
Right.
You see?
Yeah.
And when I got here, I told them that. They're like, oh, golly, Barney, you know? And it was true. I was locked up. You know, I don't know anything about it. I don't run with those kind of guys.
Right.
There's something that's really, I guess you're guessing it. Okay, I think you're guessing it. And that is that those kind of people have something that you can detect. And it may not say, okay, he did it, or he didn't do it, but it's something you can detect that keeps you away from those kind of people.
Right.
And it could be they're a Chester or whatever, but there's just some kind of a weirdness sense that you know not to be around that kind of person or that kind of person. And pretty much, I think I'm pretty good at that. Because I've been now 15 years, and I'm pretty good at staying away from all of that. You know.
So, this is, I'm not saying you didn't. I'm saying this is just a mental exercise. If you did it, would you tell me that you did it?
Oh, yeah, you asked me that already.
No, I asked you if somebody else did it. But if you did it, you would.
At this point stage, I'd have to tell you because you already. Yeah, I mean, if I did this,
right?
You know, and you're asking me, ask me that again so we can clarify. Because I don't know if the room's bugged or
I'm not saying you did anything. I'm just saying if you did it, if you killed anybody, would you tell me?
Sure, yeah. At this
Why
point,
would anyone tell me?
I don't know. We got all our cards on the table,
right?
You know, so it's kind of just between two guys,
right? We
both put our bridges on at the same time. You know, you're losing a little more hair than me, but just like on a path of life, you know, and we're just two men. Now, why can't I meet a man fairly? You know, that's one thing I stand on is you saw it. You met me the other day.
Right.
I met two men, which is not cool. It's supposed to just be one-on-one.
Right.
You know, but I met two men. One guy, he's playing the bad guy deal or whatever. He had a hitch in his crawl that day. And he dug first. I have common sense, and I looked at the van. The van's a freaking wreck. You can tell if that was a previously used item or not, or you can tell if it's been there a long time. It's got dust and dirt on it. You know, why it was a ruse or a trick for him to take them. You know. Or something wasn't right in the taking of them because, you know, he was being cautious or careful.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't, you know, but to me, they're just, I have so many. My girl just bought me a brand new one. I ain't even opened it yet. You know, that was a Christmas present, you know.
Hey, let me ask you a question. You got a scar on your ear. What happened to your ear right there?
Oh, it's been there forever and ever and ever and ever. I don't even remember how. I want to say that was a piece of wire that got flung being pulled. And you know how, like, when you're on a run of wire, let's say there was a wire all the way around the run.
Last little bit pops back.
Yeah, when it comes out of it flings, and then that's what did that. I believe that was. Yeah, I believe that's
you need a
what
better
it
story
was.
than that. You need like
that's
a nice fight and
no, I have one of those. I have one of those.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I have one. I have one of those right here, right there.
And in prison,
I had my foot in his throat and he stabbed me with a knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago. Right there.
So you had the better on him.
Yeah, I had my foot. Yeah. As a matter of fact, everybody in the damn pool hall was clapping when that happened.
Yeah, I didn't like him.
That happened at Moyer's Pool Hall back in the, I want to say late 70s, early 80s. Pulled a damn pea shooter 32. I think it was either a 4-shot or a 5-shot revolver 32. Pulled it on me and I kicked him and got him down on the ground and I had my foot in his throat and he still got that piece and I managed to kick that piece away with my other foot and I still got my foot in his throat and he stabbed me right there. They all got down for me though.
So what would have happened if he wouldn't have stabbed you?
He might have, he definitely, well, if he hadn't have stabbed me, it probably wouldn't have happened the same way.
Right.
You know, but what happened was when he stabbed me there, the whole group converged to get the piece. You see, so I don't know who, somebody in the group got the piece away from both of us, but it was his piece.
Right.
I've never, you know, liked carrying them.
Right.
You know, and
it does sound like
they don't interest me.
Right.
They don't interest me very much. You know, they used to when I was younger, intrigued a little bit by them. But anyway, they got the piece away, and they were clapping like, yeah, get his ass. So we don't know who he's going to shoot, and all this and that, and he had a gun, chaos going on. You know, a bunch of people pull haul in the 70s, 80s. It was a little more different than now.
Sure.
And but I don't know. I know he was able to get up. So, but you know, that's
sounds like that'd have been the end of him if he hadn't.
I've jumped over and leaned against the bar and pulled the knife out, and I actually let it heal up by itself. So I didn't go to the hospital for it. So.
Right.
It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, but I guess I probably would have dared him too. If it were you and the guy had a foot in your throat, you probably just did what you could too. Well, he should have never pulled a gun over some bullshit. It was over probably $20 or $50 was a common pull bet, you know.
He thought he'd been cheated?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I think he was mad because he lost or whatever, but, you know, for whatever reason, he thought he could skate out by pulling the gun and not have to pay the bill, you know. That don't work. No. Not, well, it probably would nowadays because everything's all different now. All these youngsters are just hyped, you know. They're just, they're a different set than we were, you know. That's why I don't mess around too much. It's because they're different. They're into different stuff, and there's all this stuff I don't know about that's out there now. And the only thing I know about is a few pain pills are a little bit weak. That's the only thing I know about. I mean, the effects or how it makes people act or what kind of people do that. These ones that are out there now are into MMA and this and that and all. I don't understand all of that. You know, I don't know how those kind of people are, so I don't mess with them. You know, they're into these. They're into these doing this and this and this, and all kinds of weird, and wearing these hats sideways and loud clothes, and I ain't into none of that.
I'm going to say something. I'm just going to be straight up honest with you because I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking.
Well, they did it in there.
I hope you don't take offense by it, but I try to be as honest as I possibly can. Okay?
Sure.
This is what I suspect, okay? And you can tell me if I'm wrong or not.
Okay. I definitely will.
What I suspect
I got to pee anyway again.
Is that we'll take care of it in just a second. So I know you don't have long, but so one thing I suspect. And the jewelry and stuff makes me think this, is that, and also a little bit of your background. I know that's a long time in the past.
Yeah, I haven't had any of that background in a while.
People, you know, I know people sometimes go back to their ways, and that is, I suspect that you might be doing some burglaries. Okay, I think you might be doing some, maybe working in people's houses, going in and doing them.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. I'm not in shape for it anymore.
Right.
I don't got the mind for it anymore.
Well, how much in shape you got to be to do a burglary?
You pretty much got to be. I don't even know if my ticker would take it.
Right.
You know, because it amps out. Your heart kind of races, and you're in this. You know, from the old days, if I was to explain it, it's like doing a big old bump of meth or something.
Right.
I don't know if I could handle it.
Oh, just the heart rate being inside.
Yeah, I don't know if I could handle it. I wouldn't do good at it if I did it.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't do good at it at all if I was even attempt to do it.
But I know you did a lot of burglaries before you got caught in that one in '93.
Not necessarily. I kind of just knew the people pretty much.
Right.
And nowadays it's different. It's way different.
So when you knew the people, how did that work out? How did you choose to burglarize a person?
I didn't. I usually didn't. It was usually back then. It was groups. Back then, somebody made the calls. You know, you either chose or not chose. You know, back then. Now I don't know how things happen now.
Right.
And check it out. I came out in 07. And in 07, I decided it was going to be different.
Right.
Okay. And it lasted for a pretty good while.
Right.
You know, it was hard. It was different. The only thing that really even changes me being able to sit with you now, and even any kind of a norm of any kind, I don't know if you got people looking or watching or whatever. I am curious about that. You know.
Yes, everything that goes on in this room is
all right.
Audio tape and video tape.
Well, now you tell me, as I had to ask. You should have told me that at the beginning. But anyway, I don't have anything to hide, so it doesn't matter. The set is different. I don't know how things are done now, but they're controlled worse so than they were back then. You know, back then you couldn't do anything without having to, you know, appease somebody's order of some kind. You know, I don't know how things are done now.
And who did you run with back then?
Well, you have to take all the stuff to a hawk. You know, you have to take all the stuff to a what we used to call it back then?
Fence.
A fence. You have to take everything to there. And their order is going to be, I'll give you this much or not, you know. And, you know, it's all controlled. I don't know. I wouldn't know the first of how to get into it nowadays. I wouldn't know even
how to get rid of the stuff.
I wouldn't know the first of anything on how to even delve in there now. I've been out of touch so long. I'm just barely learning a flip cell phone. You know,
I
don't even text on it,
right.
You know, so I'm old school, so I have nothing to do with the new way of things. I don't even really understand. I never partook long enough to learn. You know? So I would have to relearn because I was gone so long. When they brought me back for that yogurt shop deal, when they brought me back for that, they actually, you know, did me a service in a way. Even though I was pissed off at all the hell I went through.
Right.
They made me think, like, hey, these guys are out there doing some wicked act.
Right.
You know, and then, like, when I actually did that, to be perfectly honest with you, when I was doing that, it was during the daylight hours, and it was always when nobody was there, you know.
Right.
You check all that out first, you know.
Right.
Now, the way they're doing things nowadays, I don't know. You know, I had a way to get rid of them back then. You know, they wouldn't have gave you, but maybe if you're lucky, those are better than anything else. You can get about 70 cents on the dollar on those, especially if there was pistols, you know, and then you can get 70, 80 cents on them. But jewelry and jazz like that, you know, anything like that is 30 cents on the dollar, you know, if you're lucky, because it's already marked way high, you know. When you go buy a ring, you go buy that same ring at the pawn shop, see how much of a different price you pay.
Oh, sure.
You know, that's why I got a whole stack of receipts. I got a whole stack of receipts for all the real ones. I got them. They're on record as being bought, paid cash. It's a new thing. I'm not down with it. Everything that's new, I'm not down with none of it. I don't even understand it.
Right.
You know, it's not my... You can't even approach me about something, you know, I wouldn't even know how to approach somebody, you know, how to start that, you know, any kind of a relation, you know, I wouldn't even know how to start it, you know, because it's different. The rules are different. Normally, like back in the old days, you know, you could have met me to get some green, you know, or something like that. And then we went from there, and then you into me for a few hundred or this or that, and it would lead to something else or whatever. I don't even know if it works that way anymore nowadays.
So let me ask you a question. So let's say...
Real bad.
Oh, yeah. We'll get you.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I made a spot on my pants.
I'm going to have an officer come and take you over here. So hold on 1 second.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay, sorry. So
That's okay. I had to pee really bad.
So we were getting stuff taken care of. I'm getting another detective to make a list for you of the stuff that we took, so you have that.
I appreciate the little list. It gave me time to look over it. It gave me time to think that I forget his name. The guy that was
Scanlon.
Mr. Scanlon. It just seemed like he really had a, you know, interest in me in general, and I didn't really think that was fair. I wasn't getting a fair shot.
Sure. Well, he has an interest in solving the case. That's his main thing.
I actually do too. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I actually do too.
So here's the thing. Okay, so and we're going to schedule a polygraph, and that'll help us along too.
I need to make sure that I have rights when I do that or whatever. I don't mind doing it, but I need to make sure that I have somebody on my side there for that. I don't mind doing it, but I need time to make sure that I can get somebody for advisement about it. But I don't mind doing it.
Sure, you can talk to whoever. You're not going to be able to bring anyone in the room with you.
My attorney or whatever.
No, it's because of the process, the way it happens.
I don't mind doing it, but I mean, I can consult my attorney.
Absolutely,
first,
yeah.
I don't have a problem doing it. I gave you DNA, so that.
Yeah, and here's how it works with these polygraph stuff. It's like, it helps us. If you fail the polygraph, we can't take that failing the polygraph and charge you just because you failed the polygraph.
Well,
it does help
them
us.
To ask me about the things we discussed because I'm just being man to man with you above anything else. I don't care what your game is or what your motive is or what mine is.
Right.
We're dealing direct.
Sure.
And that's all that I can live for today.
Right.
Is I treat
the
you.
polygraph is not going to be today. Yeah.
That's the only thing. I just want to make sure if they ask me whatever you're gunning for or shooting at, if they ask me about that and just that,
we're going to ask you straight up. It's going to be, and you're going to know
Cool.
before you do it, before you actually polygraph, what you're going to be asked, and it's going to be straight up like, did you kill this person? Or did that? I mean, it's going to be, they're not going to be any tricky questions. You're going to know the questions before they do it.
Totally cool with that.
They're going to do it. They're going to tell you what they are, and then you're going to do it, and you'll do it like multiple times, just to make sure the readings are good. And if, let's say, it comes back and says this guy's a lying piece of shit, we don't run out and go write a warrant. What we do is we say, okay, we got a problem here, okay, and we talk through it. Sometimes there's an explanation for why someone fails polygraph. Doesn't have anything to do with
I can just touch look at you and be around you, or touch your hands.
Right, and then you can tell if you're lying.
I can tell you if there's something that I don't like.
Right.
If there's something I shouldn't be around, or that's pretty much. I hear what people tell me, like around the room there's a whole bunch of transient, strange people, and I hear what they tell me. And if something don't match up from what they tell me, it's
right.
I don't have nothing to do with them.
So let me ask you a question. We talked about the weird kind of coincidences and stuff like that. So
I've been through them all my life.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're in the middle of it, right? And again, so here we are. So what that makes me think is, okay, so if it's not you that did it, I suspect that it's someone that you know who did it. And then you may not know that the person did it, but I suspect that
I would have to know,
because I'm thinking, you're swirling in that same eddies as that killer.
I would have to know what happened and how it happened. And I don't know. I would have to know because you could be right. I know a couple of people that could be, pretty bad people, that's why I don't fuck with them.
Kill some old people?
Well, I don't fuck with them, so that's why, because I don't know what they would do. There's a couple of people.
Well, this would have to be somebody who knew Kathy Blair or who knew the Sheltons, dude.
I don't think there's a connection that way. I don't think there's a connection that way. You're looking for one, and you're looking over something.
Yeah. Well, sometimes links come up. We were looking for a link in this case. And what happened was it was there. So it just popped up. So
I think because I know a couple of people that I wouldn't trust around my wife.
Right.
So I don't fuck with them.
Right.
They're not anywhere around me because, hey, I would call y'all. Hey, ask this person to leave. Person give me a hard time. If I can't fix it, I call y'all.
Right.
You see, because I don't trust them. Like if I turn my back, they might be to get in our wallet, or whatever.
Now,
I know a couple of people like that.
Yeah. So is there somebody
to know
like
how these things happened?
Yeah. So in your particular line, is there someone who could vouch for you, who could say this is the guy who would never do something like that? Who could vouch for you?
I would imagine that my whole family would, my wife would, some people at the church would.
Isn't that the kind of guy?
I'm not a murderer, sir. Okay?
Right.
And now I've done some stuff, but I'm not a murderer.
Now, would anyone say you were a violent guy? I mean,
not.
obviously, we talked about some stuff. You're a fighter. Okay? That's violence, controlled violence. Maybe
Only
it's,
when you put me there.
right.
If you put me there, then yeah, I'm going to try my best. But only if I've been put there, and I don't go there.
Right.
I'm pretty harsh from being through the ringer. You know, I'm pretty harsh. I can go into a club or a pool hall and not have to fret none.
Right.
You know, but then if something comes at me, I don't fare well every time. You know, I've
So
had
now let me ask you this. Now you got
I
a
don't
bunch
go there.
you got a bunch of brothers. A lot of them have some background too. One of them lives right down on Brentwood. Now farther down. But any of those guys? I mean, like
No, they're all
crazy.
upstanding young fellas. Even my baby brother lives on Brentwood. He's a manager of a security firm.
Upright guy.
Yeah, upright guy, fixing to buy a piece of property. You know, upright guy, has a girlfriend, does his own little thing, works hard every day. That's my baby brother. I'm the next one. Then James is the next one, and he just had part of his. He's in bad shape. He can barely move like me. I'm knocking on the door he's at, and he's only 3 years older or 2 years older, and his health issues are coming up. I'm just fighting them. I'm ornery. I did my bit. I'm trying to regain. This is it in a nutshell. Y'all took away 15. I'm trying to get back 15. You know, that's it in a nutshell. I'm trying to do right. So I've done right for 7 so far. I'm trying to do right for 15.
Yeah.
Y'all can see, hey, and then maybe, just maybe, I'm hoping in my heart, I'm hoping that somebody will step back and fix that wrong. Okay? Because I was screwed in that deal. But I didn't have a voice. How could I get a voice? I tried. I wrote letters to people about it.
Right.
You know, Mike Lynch himself. Hey, I'm coming out. Is there any way that I can start without an X, you know, on my back? I can become very angered by that, but I didn't. I did the right way. I've been working the whole time. I've been living the best I could. We ended up in a hotel in a bad part of town, and I'm still faring well there. We still managed to pay our bills. You know, we've been there 2 years there. We don't cause no trouble there, you know. As a manager, she's just a B to begin with. I think she's a doctor. But anyway, she's a little bit of a B, you know. She doesn't like me to stand outside and smoke. She wants everybody to do everything inside their room.
Right.
Well, my wife don't smoke, so I stand outside to smoke. Well, she hasn't ever said anything else about it. I don't throw my cigarette butts out there where her person has to
Now,
clean it.
did y'all have
you know?
now you had your wife's son staying there. Were you getting a lot of visitors during that time?
Yeah, somewhat. He's a youngster. He plays video games and all that, and he works for 7-Eleven. He's a green youngster, very well, not very well, very unsocietable. You know, like he doesn't function well. He's been around mama's
Right.
boy.
Yeah, so he's not good out in social situations.
Only thing he does is play videos, so he has a few friends that play those video games, which I don't like or understand. You know, I don't want to know anything about them. People do it. That's their gig, not mine.
Right.
He was staying there with us for, let me see, I guess 9 months or so.
Right.
Maybe a little longer. Don't know. I think about 9 months.
So obviously we talk to a lot of people. Anytime we investigate,
I'm sure other people said, "Hey, he's a harsh guy, but he's not like that." You know, I'm trying to be. I've been trying since 07 to be different.
Sure.
You know, I've been trying to. I forgot all the things that they don't even fit anymore.
Right.
You know, how I would go to achieve some things before don't happen now. You know, you can't do it that way. You have to go to a different place, and you have to be a different dress and everything else and different style, and I don't understand all of it.
Is there something you can think of that could help?
I am thinking of a little something.
As a person?
I am thinking of a little something, but I'm going to have to think on it a moment. I'm thinking on something right now because you struck a chord when you asked me that. I'm thinking on, okay, but it goes back to, it ties into the van being stolen, man. That's what it ties into. It has to be who. Okay, get this. You did 15 in the pokey.
Right.
All right. You managed. You saved your integrity, and you come out swinging a heavy bat. I got a job right away. I got my own place right away. I bought my own truck right away. I worked my ass 2 jobs to the bone, and I came out and did everything successful. Somebody, I can't figure out who would be having enough balls to try to steal my van.
Right.
You know, because also, I know so many people, all it takes is for me to say the boom, and I did do that. Mm-hmm. We were even, several times I went with someone in their vehicle looking for that van.
Right.
And we was ready to take care of business.
Right, sure.
You see, if I caught them in that van, we were going to rectify right then and there. Now, then you get a call.
Get a trial.
Thanks,
trial right there.
thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
You know, that's what was going to happen. I was very upset, okay? Whoever had the balls to bug me like that is the kind of person that'll do something wicked. You see there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's 1 or 2 I can think of, you know, that might have, but whomever did it, and then this is telling me something weird too. They didn't even have to bust the lock on that van, but they did. They didn't even have to. All you got to do is put your hands on the glass and pull the glass down. I got a screwdriver jibbed in the door right now.
Right.
Did you notice that? Mm-hmm. The glass falls right down. You take that screwdriver out. You don't even have to take it out. You can take your hands. They didn't have to fuck the lock. So that tells me that it's somebody young.
Well, most of those things were stolen by young kids.
Okay, but somebody knew that they were taking my van. You got to understand that. There's something there. Okay, because I'm a helpful kind of guy right now. A lot of those people at the motel, I take them to the food pantries. Mm-hmm. I helped a couple of them get work. You know, not work with me, just get work, you know, from other people that I know. And then I have helped a couple of them on some extra matters, you know, that don't pertain to your thing. You know, and so they think that I'm a nice guy or a helpful guy, and I try to be like that now. But somebody's eating at that with like it's a weakness, you know, and they jack my man.
You didn't consider that maybe it was just some teenage kid?
Even if it was, when they did that, and then they abandoned it, where I was told they abandoned it at the on 290.
Oh, okay.
That tells me that it's somewhere in this district.
Right.
Somewhere in the north side.
Right.
And everybody freaking Twinkie knows in the north side. I did my part and I come out and I ain't been involved in nothing and I ain't taken for nothing.
Right.
Everybody knows that.
So
everybody knows that. Everybody. Even those freaking ones that pulled me down for the yogurt shop thing. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, we better leave that guy alone. That guy come in here and fixed our business. You know, he told us our business, and they should have looked for that before they ever yanked me.
So what? So when you went out looking for your van, who did you go out with?
Well, they wouldn't be of your interest. They're not. They're aiding me.
Right. I'm just curious who your friends are that would.
Yeah, they wouldn't be. They're just regular old guys, but they're down for like being treated right. You know, they do things right. They work all day and go home to their girl. You know, they wouldn't be. But I'm thinking.
I don't think they're killers.
Yeah, I'm thinking that somebody that may have even been in that van. Because they went to that door side.
So after they stole your van, why would they go kill somebody?
No, I'm not. Well, I don't. Right. Okay, I'm not. I'm just saying for them to have enough out of all the cars in the parking lot they could have took, why are they going to take some jinky old junked up full van? Right. You know, when there was all kinds of cars in there, Mustang, BMW, you know, all kind of noted Ford trucks, Ford trucks with damn hookup welders hooked up in the back and compressors right in the back. Right. Why are they going to take that, man? See there, that's something. Okay, what I'm thinking, this is honestly, okay, I really don't even want this to be in this room when I discuss this with you, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. Okay. Whomever took that van has the capacity to do that what you're asking, you see, because they had to take the van, because they had to know, hey, I know everybody in this town. I know everybody, man, in this town. So
you're saying you think that somebody who took that van has a capacity for committing murder?
Yeah, I'm saying whoever took that van got a capacity to do that. I mean, they had to have some hairy balls when they did that. Because I guarantee you, soon that next morning, I was out there looking. And I even told Mr. Geist, the officer that came on the scene 2 days later, I already been looking. Me and several of my buddies been looking. He said he'd be doing the same thing. He'd be doing the same thing. We went all the way to Grand Avenue, because we know there's a bunch of technical areas over there, a lot of warehousey type parking lots, big parking lots where they could have did. We went all the way to Grand Avenue, and we came all the way back to Coney Lane. Actually, really all the way back to 38th, but we didn't jump on that side of 35. I was thinking about that when we were looking. We didn't jump on that side of 35. I tried to look in Little Mexico where we're at. I'm thinking somebody had too much sauce because it was on a weekend, needed a way, and saw that and then did it at first. And then I started thinking to myself, when I got the van back, it's on the passenger side. That freaking window, all you had to do is go like that, it come right down. It won't even lock. It won't even close. So why the hell did they jib the lock? Something ain't fitting right. Something just ain't right. And from that point till now, there's a whole lot of things not fitting right. It's like somebody, I do the same thing every day, sir, in case you hadn't noticed. You might have been watching me just to see. You know, I work a little bit every day. I was working at a 7. I'm trying to get another job at a 7-Eleven right now. I just talked to Jacob, and he's trying to hook me up right away. You know, because I have the capacity to handle that job well.
Right.
I didn't work too well with Armando because he wouldn't give me no hours. I was pissed off, you know.
Right.
Go 3 days for 16 hours. That's just a headache. Would you come here for 16 hours? You wouldn't do it. It's not worth your trouble. Right. You're not getting paid enough money to make it worth your trip. I put up with it as long as I could, and I had to deal with 2 youngsters that don't know what they're doing and what they're dealing with. You got people slinging out in the parking lot and making people sick, and they're coming in here, and you got to call ambulance because the dude's going, I can't breathe, and he just went out there in the parking lot and scored some that was plastic or some kind of from one of them for $20 and tried to hit it, and he had it in his hand in the cellophane when the ambulance got there. This is when I'm at work. I had to call the ambulance,
right?
You know, and they don't realize what they're dealing with. Is this what they?
Yeah, that's the inventory of the stuff there.
Okay.
You can kind of see.
And this one you had already said you were going to deal with. Is that still?
Which one's that?
Stand. You just let those. You said you were going to deal with that.
Flashlights, gloves.
No, it's from that police
jacket.
jacket.
From the police jacket.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn that in. I don't know.
You said you were going. You said you was. You said it wouldn't screw me.
Well,
And,
what I said was that I mean, I don't know. We're gonna look. We're gonna do that. We'll take a look. So
okay.
Yeah, I know. So
Cell phone.
Yeah.
Baseball cards.
Let's just say that's something that's in my hip pocket.
Oh, yeah. These 2 things were in the little stash box for the kids to play with. My old phone, gloves, flashlights. Where were they? Backpack. Oh, everything in my backpack. That's all old shit in there for a year. Been in there since we've been in that room. The box with the ring that belongs to my sister's son. She would know about it or can ask her son. He'll tell her that belongs to him. It has something to do with Christmas. I don't know any more than that. He just asked me to hang on to it.
What's that?
So I did. The box with the ring in it. And unknown jewelry is all junk, old stuff, been in that box for a year better. You know, it doesn't relate to anything. The pawn tickets for the nugget I told you about doesn't relate to nothing. Now, this one just says jewelry. It doesn't say anymore. So I don't think it was much jewelry. You know, there was just a few items. I just have a few real items. That's it.
Okay. Well, listen, let me say this, just so you understand, because I want to make sure that we're all real clear, is that, and I said this already, but I just want to, you can keep that. I just wanted to make sure
it's
really clear with you, and that is that everything we've discussed, I'm gonna check. Okay.
Okay. You
check
right. Yeah, you can
check, and I think you
evaluate
understand. I think you understand that.
Yeah.
But also though,
you should. Part of. Okay. I don't know how. Okay, because I don't know anything about murder. Okay. Somehow, the theft of that van links into this, and I don't know how. Okay, I would have to know who did it. I would have to actually, even if I don't know them, they could have been one of the campers right over there by the camp that's right there by the A. You know, and if it's one of them that I've seen before, I've ran them out of the store and caused major aggression.
Why would that person who stole your can then go
if they
kill
can't,
somebody?
if they can't get along with me during the course of something to come to a happy medium, just like you and I did,
Right.
there's something amiss with them.
Sure.
Okay.
Maybe they're capable of murder, but why would they murder these particular people?
That I would not know. I wouldn't. In other words, I don't even think that there's any. I don't even think there's any correlation.
Well, maybe not between the two murders.
I don't even think there. I don't even think
There may not be. But
it's just at this time of the year, there's some crazy stuff, and I've fielded it before
Right.
with the campers. Messing with letting the air out of my tire at the store on Masterson. See, I used to work at the store right there next to the room.
Mm-hmm.
At Lamar, the 7-Eleven right there, right next to the room.
Mm-hmm.
Lamar and Masterson. And they let the air out of my tire right there. And I'm like, why the f*** you have to do that, man? Why didn't you just come tell me? You know, I tell you can't be on the property, but if you need a hot dog and you ask me halfway decent, I give you as a hot dog, you get on your way.
Right.
You know? And it caused a thing. I think there's some kind of a link.
Right.
You know?
So the reason I mention this, and I'm just saying, the reason, and I always tell people this every time, is that if you did do it, I'll know that.
Yeah,
okay, I'm just saying. I know.
I would
I tell everybody.
You know, just so we
okay?
can get past
Yeah,
first
and
base.
I tell everybody this: that if you did do it, it's going to come out in the wash. So.
Yeah.
You know, so now is the opportunity.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do with murder. Just for a side note, because those guys rode with you, and apparently you called for those two guys to come with you, but they left that stuff. They missed that stuff. It's just my receipt from Olive Garden. It was in my pocket. APDs that.
The officer
searched me. They left those, and I was digging through my jacket and found them in my jacket.
Well,
I should have found that first. If it was, I would hope freely that I could just put it there in the table and we deal with it. You see?
Okay, so here's the deal.
And hopefully you got some halfway decent.
I'm gonna send these guys. I'm gonna send you back to these guys, these officers. They're gonna take control of you again. They're gonna take you back out there. Okay, out to where you live at. All right, they're gonna issue a citation, a traffic ticket. For the driving with your license.
Warning.
And ticket. Yeah,
a ticket I have to
citation.
Pay. A warning ticket that I just had to pay.
But here's the thing. Okay, I understand the situation.
Yeah, because I have to answer for it. It's going to cost me a lot of headache, and you don't want to cause me a headache. I have to explain it to her.
Well, you already have to explain this. You have to explain that you've had contact with me, correct?
Yeah, she's going to ask
so
me everything.
You just explain the whole thing. Say, hey, listen, I was driving. I got a traffic ticket. They brought me in and they talked to me. Okay, not a big deal. All right, so.
Oh no, man. I don't know. She knew, and they've been really bringing me around. That's the bad thing. If it was Mr. OG, I'd tell Mr. O'Goyer straight up.
Right.
You know, because he was my person for 2 years. He could tell you I ain't no killer. You know, I mean, I can think of a bunch of people that could tell you I ain't no killer. I would hope they would, but I am.
Well, Mr. O'Goyer is the supervisor over there, right? So
I am.
He's still there to vouch for you.
I saw him not too long ago, but I don't know. I just saw him in passing. Hey, Mr. OG. Yeah, he's came to my home for 2 years, you know. Met my wife, everything. I'm not no killer, okay?
All right.
So I thought you understood that from the first meeting. I thought you were just doing it in John Wayne style, but...
Well, but here's the thing. I mean, understand my side. I don't pretend like other people. I don't pretend that I'm a human polygraph, that I can look at somebody and tell if they're lying to me or not.
Well, what does your gut tell you?
Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't.
After 20 years, you got to have a gut.
So, you know, what my gut tells me is that you're a talker. You talk.
I'll tell you the truth.
Yeah.
You know?
So what I rely on is the facts. So you give me a lot of facts. We've talked about a lot of stuff, and I can check those facts. And those facts check out, then I know that you were telling the truth. If they don't check out, then I know you weren't. That's how my lie detector works. It's pretty easy, you know. It's based less on.
Do they have to handcuff me when they?
No, they can take you back without the handcuffs. All right, just stay here, okay?
Okay.
You have any questions for me?
I would like both of y'all's cards, you know, so I can
Sure, yeah.
contact you, you know.
Absolutely. Hey, so I'm going to give you a call tomorrow about the polygraph. So whoever you want to talk to about
I
it.
try to get a hold. I have an
talk to him
attorney.
about it.
I have an attorney. I just don't know if he's that kind of an
Well,
attorney. I just need to ask him, what should I do?
Get it set up. In the end, it's your decision. However you want to do it. You don't want to do it, you don't want to do it.
Oh, no, I don't mind doing it. I don't mind doing it at all. We did that already. Yeah.
We're not trying to. You guys are going to take you out.
Do I get my belongings?
Yeah, whenever we get that back to your place, we'll give them to you.
Okay. Okay. I'm just curious.
Thanks.
I feel kind of naked.
Yeah. Hey, you should come out. If you're arrested, you should come up here for a week or something.
Yeah, that'd be
With
awesome.
your sergeant.
Oh, yeah. It'd be hard to do it during the training cycle because I'm the only FTO.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah, so kind of.
all right, thanks.
I'll leave that open a second before we. No. Yeah, tell me the game. Tell me the game. Tell me what's your.
Okay, well, let me go to it first, because we got to do this before we can start.
Okay.
So you have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all. Any statement you make may be used against you and probably will be used against you at your trial. You understand that?
Okay.
Any statement you make may be used as evidence against you in court. You understand that? Yes. You have the right to have a lawyer present to advise you prior to and during any question. Understand?
Okay.
If you're unable to employ a lawyer, you have the right to have a lawyer appointed to advise you prior to and during any questioning. You understand?
Okay.
You have the right to terminate this interview at any time. You understand?
I
Okay.
don't want to get to that point.
Right. Yeah,
This
I don't
needs
either.
to be done.
I blame myself for that.
It needs to be done. I don't know what that is. I didn't do it. I kept my mess. So.
No, that's all right. There's so many messy people coming in this room, so no big deal. So you understand, you don't have to speak to me. Are you willing to
Right.
talk to
I
me?
want to,
Yeah,
actually.
okay, all right, good. I just want to clarify one thing. I asked you this at the jail. I just want to make sure. So you did your POCS charge. You got that taken care of. So you've already actually done time served on it, looks like. on your-
14
on your
days,
case.
and
Yeah.
it was over on that 8th.
On the 8th, right. And then you don't have an attorney for your parole.
No.
Right, okay.
I do. I want to show you something because you need to know. I brought it with me. They allowed me to bring this.
Okay,
And this is my ticket,
okay,
which actually is your ticket,
right,
and or the city's ticket. I want it dealt with somehow.
okay,
Okay, I don't want it to. I'm in jail, so I can't deal with it. So, and then I want you to know that this is the first time ever
right.
that I've been advised. You see what it says?
Uh-huh,
Now I've heard that
uh-huh,
years and years. I've heard that.
right,
But when you don't have anything you're not looking for the things that I could tell you that I was actually, guilty of some of the things doing.
right,
Like I told you on the way.
right.
That's not you don't care about that,
Right.
I mean, you
Well,
do,
here's the
but-
thing. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Well, what we want. So we've gotten to the point right now, based on what you've told us, because as you've seen, regardless of how things ended before, I did listen to what you said. I really wasn't moot, right? I moved on. And I actually followed up on what you told me, and I found out the truth of the matter. Okay, so I know who committed the murders. That's not an issue for me. Okay. That's not an issue that's in question because that guy's already given it up. He's told me all sorts of details and everything. Okay. And so, of course, he's also said some stuff about you, with regards to, Tim made me do it, that kind of thing, stuff. So, yeah, so again, same thing. He tells me something, I come back, I follow up on it. That's it. That's what it is. This is being fair, so that's what we do. And also, if this guy did it, he needs to make sure, he needs to answer for what he did. Right. So we need to make sure that is, that's taken care of.
Okay.
So we do want to make sure that we get all of the details out, that I understand the relationship between you guys and all of that, between you and your Gant, Shawn Gant.
I wasn't even sure of his
right.
name exactly. But
Right. And all that. So that's why we're here. Because you kind of know it's out there. You know all the things Had said. So, and I think I said this before. The main thing that I'm investigating is murder. Okay.
Right.
I found my murderer. I want people to help me strengthen my case against the murderer. Okay. So it's important for me to talk to you because I think you can help me with that. Okay. That's something that you can do. Now,
is it gonna be in my advantage to do it? Is it gonna? I mean, not advantage. That's not the right word. Is it gonna be? You have got my parole officer so scared of me that she wouldn't even come to me the other day. She sent somebody else.
Right. Right.
Okay. And I'm not that kind of a guy.
Sure.
I need to know how do I shake that.
Well, let me tell you. Okay. And here's the thing. So I've heard a lot. So, and that's what we're, kind of got mentioned it on the way. And just as a matter of course that this is what happens. We talk to a lot of people.
Right.
We talk to a lot of people on this. Talk to, again, I had before, even more now. So from the last time we talked until right now, I know 1,000 times more than what I knew the last time I talked to you.
Okay.
So
do you think of me like you did before?
I don't. I don't think of you as a killer. That's what I don't. I mean, that's not to say you didn't do anything you weren't supposed to. Okay, and you already acknowledged that.
Yeah.
You did there were some things you did wrong. You've done well since you got out of prison. I understand, the situation of, you get stuff. We saw one of the things I just heard about, we searched, of course, your storage room and stuff. That was one of the things we looked at. And someone says they came across some banks trying to collect a lien against you or something like that. So, it's constantly someone's trying, people trying to kind of keep you down. So,
right.
So, and we find this a lot of times with offenders and they get released back out. It's hard for them to really turn their life around because the odds kind of stacked against them.
I never seem to get, okay. Right. Now since I saw you last, I've been thinking about that. Did I fully tell you everything that might have helped you? No.
Correct.
Did we get to that point? We were close.
Right.
Okay, well, we got to the point that mattered. And that was when you told me that when that juice was flowing through my veins, regardless of whether I did it or not, you could make it seem as if I did.
Right.
And that was all scientifically based, on science,
right.
little pieces. But I think, humanity came in and told you needed to know more.
Right.
Or you needed more.
Right.
They put it in the paper. That was uncool. Okay, that was very uncool. That's going to be hard to deal with for a long time.
Well, here's the thing. I don't see it as uncool because he already told on himself. It's not like a big deal. You know what I mean? I tell people it's not like you're telling on somebody they've already told on themselves. You know what I mean? And usually when I tell people that, when I go, the guy's already outed himself totally. You're not saving him, So, if it helps you, tell me, everything. It does, there's no point in not saying, saying something at that point.
I thought of something that might be, I don't know if y'all know or not, but I thought of something. And it's really weird. It's hard for me. You got to understand, okay, man to man. I mean, just me to you. I don't care about the cameras or whatever. I don't care about none of that. Just man to man. Mm-hmm. It was hard for me to do that.
Sure.
But you made it. You should get an Academy Award for that because I've been down for a long time. Mm-hmm. I've done probably 20-something years in prison.
Right.
And the one thing we learn is you do not do that.
Right.
You see, I mean, that is what keeps you alive in there.
Right.
See, I'm not actually considered, I'm not concerned about the guy himself. Right. I'm concerned about the group of people.
But here's this is the way I see it. And maybe I don't see it the same way you do, but this is the way I see it, and I think a lot of people will see it the same way. It's like, but this guy put you in this situation, right? This guy put you in a situation where And you're talking about, is it going to help you, hurt you? Had we not talked, you'd be charged with murder right now. No question about it, just based on what we found in the car. Okay, already. Shawn, wouldn't even talk to him. Why would we talk to that guy? Maybe we'd have figured it out sometime later. But so that sort of, different things sort of started unraveling stuff for me in my mind. When we found the car, that started unraveling that part of it. When we found, when we started talking to people, that started unraveling a little bit more. But when we found Shawn, of course, that unraveled, everything. So I think it's unfair. You have a situation where you got a guy, where you're not in for killing anybody, and again, maybe you're doing something you're not supposed to do. Maybe you're, down for taking some property or something like that, but you're not in for someone getting killed. You know what I mean? That's a whole different level. Right. Burglary is a non-violent crime. Burglars are non-violent people.
I guess you kind of sort of tell that I'm not a
right, exactly
violent kind of person.
And we talked to you asked me about, we talked to your wife, we did, and she didn't say that you're a violent person towards her.
I'm not a bad person. Yeah. I have to love her a lot.
So a little different maybe if she's out there saying, this guy beats me all the time, stuff like that, and I'd be like,
I never thought I could do that.
Right.
I never thought I could love again.
Right.
Okay, after all I've been through.
Right.
And it's people like yourself, maybe your boss looking, I don't know who it is, but they never gave me a fair shake.
Right.
Ever.
Right.
I never got one fair shake. If there was a little discrepancy, they always smashed before they would try to get to know me or understand, if there was anything, they just would smash. And I'm tired of being smashed on, okay? And I don't want to let an individual like Shawn or anybody else smash on me anymore.
Right.
I'm tired. I'm tired of being. I need a chance to be somebody. I'm not a bad somebody.
Yeah, I agree. So what's happening is that Shawn, of course, to protect himself, is trying to show you as the bad guy, as you show you as the one who forced him. I mean, not just asked him to, but forced him to kill those people. So when we have that situation, it's again, I have to come. We have to just we have to discuss the whole thing, find out the truth. Because what I don't want to go in with that. I don't believe that he made decisions of his own free will. What he did, and I don't think that you were mind controlling him to do anything.
No,
Charles Manson.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I'm not. Okay. So definitely, I'm not.
Right. So. And that's the thing. And like I said, okay, you were making some mistakes during this time period. Okay. We know that, kind of what was going on there. But again, there's a difference between, hey, we're there to do a burglary as opposed to we're there to do a murder, hugely different thing. So that's the kind of stuff that we have to go. So
what exactly do you need to know?
Well, very simple. It's very simple, but it's complicated, okay? So it's simple in this. I need to know everything about how you met Shawn and what all happened in the murders, okay? From your perspective, okay?
Yeah, I don't know.
So here's the thing, okay? I just want you, and here's where it's very important, okay? And this is where we ran into a problem last time, okay? And the problem is that...
You thought I wasn't being truly honest.
Right. And you know why that is? Because it took hours to even get to the point where we got Shawn's name. And also, you did tell me some stuff that I know is not correct, okay? And I understand why, because it's like, again, you're trying to avoid getting in trouble for something somebody else does. You kind of don't want to put yourself there in that area because people can get the wrong idea about it. And so I understand why that would be. But, in terms of like where you're at, that is easy for us to know, okay? Where you're at any given time. And I wasn't kidding. I don't know if you saw in the thing, but there actually was video, okay? So we know that your car pulled up there, where we said. So there's no, all the stuff that happened, we know what happened, but we know that Shawn got out of the car and went in and did what he did. Okay, so that's information that is out there. Now I know, and I think you Ray told me that that when you were out there, you said, I know a lot more stuff than is in that affidavit, or that was on the news.
It was what I read in the paper,
right, or what you read in the paper. And I'm sure you do, and that's another reason we want to come in here. Now, of course, we didn't put everything we know in the affidavit. That's for one. That's just one murder. So we're looking at and we just discussed just the minimum that we needed to charge him. All the rest, we kind of hold our cards back until we actually go into court, or until we actually have to do it. So that's, kind of where it is on that. So, my job is to try to make sure that, to get because again, I know facts, things that I see about where people are at and what's going on. I don't always know some of the things, like if he's saying, well, he did this.
You're not that kind of guy, so you wouldn't be in long enough to know.
Right. So, some of the stuff I'm just getting from Shawn. You know what I mean? It's just him. And I don't want to go just based on what he's saying, okay? Because like I said, he's not painting a pretty picture. He's basically saying that even though he did the killings, you're really the murderer. You're really the bad one.
I know you did that before, and you know better. Why would you go there when you know better?
I'm not. I'm just telling you what he has said. And if you saw in the news, or read in the paper, then you read what it is he's saying, and you put him up to it. Okay, so that is what I think. I mean, what I know is okay. Put him up to the burglary, but that's different than putting him up to a murder. You know what I mean? So that is a different thing altogether. Okay, being a burglar, way different thing than being a killer. So we want to differentiate that, because it all kind of gets blurred around a little bit
and thrown together.
So we want to, we have to really get in the details so we can sift that out. We can sift that, more minor crime, that nonviolent crime, away from
the actual thing.
pretty serious thing that happened.
All right, now Ken, before I talked about this,
sure.
I mentioned it to you before,
right?
That I can't just put all of my stake or faith in that I'm going to be not screwed around again. Mm-hmm. You see, I need to know better that I'm not going to be screwed around again. That you're going to actually, like, you already got my PO against me already. And I don't know, maybe she's just scared. I don't know if it's something you said or
no. What it was is I think, when we talk, so these particular offenses that occurred, I'm just telling you, it's got people all freaked out. Okay, right. So I think when she heard that you were related to all of that, she got really freaked out. So that's what freaked her out. Okay?
I'm not I don't know how much related I really am. I can tell you my position on it.
Right.
I know how to take something that you net and turn it into what you want.
Right.
That's what I know how to do.
So and how do you do that?
I usually can take you to somebody like his particular using thing is X value.
Right.
Okay. And I'm sure he probably let you know that.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I can get them. I know how to get them. So if I get them for you, that's what you want. You don't want the items you take or the money or anything. You want value. So I know how to get them. All right, so I would get them. And you found evidence of that. You found 15 and that you charged me with. I wish you hadn't have done it that way. Right. But that's still, it helped quicken, get to the bottom of it. So I'm going to chin that. I'm going to take that. I did have them.
Right.
They were in the room. And I wouldn't let her take responsibility of them because she didn't even know about them.
Right.
So I had to do the honest, fair thing, which was own up to them.
Right.
I did that. Now, I don't know what else you want, for me to...
Okay. Well, what I want to talk about, okay, and again, we hold a lot of our cards back, but I will tell you that we do know a lot of details. And not just based on what he's saying. He's kind of... like how you have your play-by-play guy and you have the color commentator? Okay. Right. So I'm kind of the play-by-play guy. I can tell you what happened, when it happened, who was involved, people who were there. What I can't do is I can't do the color stuff. And right now, Shawn's doing the color. Okay, so Shawn right now is getting to say, here's the guy who's here's the guy who put me up to it. Here's the guy who told me to do the killing, and that's the key right there. Okay, the key is that you told him to go kill the person. Okay, that's problematic. Okay,
Yeah.
if you said let's go do burglary, it's just like you get a bank robbery thing. Somebody says, hey, let's go do bank robbery, and you're like, yeah, cool, and you're the getaway driver or whatever. The guy goes in, shoots the teller, comes back out. Yeah, I got the money. Let's go. You had no idea that was going to happen. You didn't plan it. You may not even know it, right away after it happens. But
I actually didn't until you knocked on my window.
Right.